This page is the cover of the December 1994 issue, featuring iconic characters Sonic the Hedgehog and Knuckles the Echidna. The main focus is a total feature issue on the Sega Saturn, highlighting the final countdown to its release and covering all games scheduled before the year's end, starting with Virtua Fighter. There's also significant coverage of the Super 32X, Sega 32X. Special reports include Sonic and Knuckles and Puyo Puyo 2. The magazine also boasts a special bound-in supplement for Lunar 2, Eternal Blue, on the Sega CD. Other games mentioned are Story of Air, Power Instinct, Alien Soldier, and Samurai Showdown. The cover clearly signals the excitement around Sega's impending next-generation hardware launches. This page serves as a dramatic introduction to the Sega Saturn, following the cover feature. It boldly proclaims Saturn from Saturn and hails the birth of an amazing 64-bit class game machine. The striking visual features strange, cone-headed figures in dark robes and ruffled collars, suggesting an otherworldly arrival, perhaps from the ringed planet itself, interacting with screens showing gameplay. The text promises an incredible lineup of software is about to arrive. Featured prominently are key launch titles like Virtua Fighter, presented as an arcade-perfect port of the super-popular 3D CG fighting game, and Clockwork Knight, a 3D action game where you rescue a kidnapped friend. Also highlighted are Wan Chai Connection, a live-action and CG mystery adventure with a James Bond-style plot set in Hong Kong, and Shinsetsu Yumemi Yakata, an adventure game where player emotion influences the story. The page also lists several other upcoming games, including Gale Racer and Myst, showcasing the diverse initial software offering for Sega's new console. This page continues the grand unveiling of the Sega Saturn, featuring striking visuals that complement the previous page's mysterious tone. We see the same peculiar cone-headed figures, now gathered around a screen displaying intense Virtua Fighter gameplay, reinforcing the console's fighting game prowess. The large text "EARN" is also prominent. The core message here is the Saturn's technical power, detailed as featuring two 32-bit RISC CPUs for distributed processing, delivering 64-bit class, astonishing performance. It boasts 3D polygon rendering, over 16.7 million colors, and high-grade PCM32 chains sound, enabling arcade-quality experiences right at home. The text emphasizes the arrival of a super-powerful software lineup that fully utilizes this hardware, marking the Saturn's debut on the global gaming stage. Finally, the page clearly states the release date is November 22nd, and the price is 44,800 yen, concluding the launch announcement. It also briefly mentions upcoming Virtua Fighter tournaments, showcasing Sega's commitment to competitive gaming with their flagship title. This page unveils the Sega 32X, Sega's Mega Drive upgrade booster, promising to transform your Genesis into a 32-bit powerhouse. This innovative add-on, priced at 16,800 yen for a December 3rd release, achieves its impressive performance through the inclusion of two SH2 processors, enabling enhanced high-speed processing, advanced polygon rendering, over 32,000 colors, and richer sound, bringing arcade-quality experiences home. It's presented as a cost-effective way to jump into the 32-bit era alongside the Saturn. The page highlights several key launch and upcoming titles, showcasing the 32X's capabilities. This includes arcade-perfect ports like Space Harrier and Star Wars Arcade, both launching December 3rd. Virtua Racing Deluxe arrives later in December, offering significant graphical upgrades including new courses and cars. Finally, Afterburner Complete is teased for January 95, featuring an evolved battle system pushing the limits of 3D visuals. The overall message is a compelling argument for extending the life of the Genesis with this significant technical leap. This page expands on the power of the Super 32X, demonstrating how it transforms the Sega Genesis into a 32-bit machine. It showcases some exciting titles coming to the platform, including the highly anticipated release of Doom for the 32X on December 3rd for 7,800 yen. This version is lauded for its faithful recreation of the original's fast, real 3D action. Also featured is Metalhead, a strategic robot action game planned for February 95, which utilizes advanced graphical techniques like texture mapping and voxels to deliver impressive visuals. The page positions the 32X as an essential part of the expanding megaworld, highlighting its role as an upgrade booster, alongside the Sega Genesis Chapter 2 and Sega CD2, which are noted as currently available. Furthermore, a lineup of other upcoming 32X software is presented, featuring diverse genres. These include Super Motocross with its realistic CG visuals, the 3D golf title 36 Great Holes starring Fred Couples, the rhythm action game Tempo, the ultra-real 3D shooter Motorbase, the fighting game Cyber Brawl, and the high-speed polygon shooter Stellar Assault, known as Shadow Squadron in North America. It also mentions Sega CD32X titles like Surgical Strike and Fahrenheit, requiring the Sega CD attachment. This page features the highly anticipated fighting game, Samurai Showdown, making its way to the Sega Genesis. Experience intense sword battles and dynamic action as 11 unique samurai characters clash. The game boasts impressive techniques and realistic battle scenes. Players can select from 12 characters, including Amakusa, for exciting versus mode matches. The page displays vibrant character artwork and screenshots highlighting the game's visuals. It announces the Sega Genesis version is scheduled for release on November 18th for 8,800 yen. Alongside the game, the page also showcases the Sega Genesis Chapter 2 console and promotes the Super 32X as an upgrade booster that transforms the Genesis into a 32-bit machine. This page showcases the highly anticipated fighting game Mortal Kombat 2, presented with the tagline, Divine Fist Tradition, Strongest Lineup. The text proclaims the end of peace and the beginning of the greatest battle, calling the game a startling fighting game sweeping the world. It highlights the intense beauty and techniques involved in combat, stating that the name Ultimate Divine Fist is fitting for this software. The page announces Mortal Kombat 2 is coming to multiple platforms, including the Super Famicom, Game Boy, Mega Drive, and Game Gear, listing their respective prices and release details. The visual features the game's iconic dragon logo and title, positioning it as a major fighting game release. This page features the box art for the acclaimed RPG, Lunar, Eternal Blue, released on the Sega Mega CD. It showcases striking anime-style artwork featuring the main characters, set against a celestial backdrop with a large planet. Several small screenshots display the game's top-down world exploration and tactical turn-based combat system. Prominently featured at the top is the phrase CD, which translates to Mega Kids Last, suggesting this was positioned as a major, perhaps final, significant release for the platform from GameArts. The page serves as an exciting preview of this highly anticipated sequel, highlighting its impressive visuals and gameplay elements. This page showcases vibrant artwork for the classic Mega CD RPG, Lunar, the Silver Star. The illustration features the main cast, including the hero Alex, the songstress Luna, the brave warrior Kyle, the energetic priestess Jessica, the cunning mage Nash, the treasure hunter Ramus, and the flying cat Null, set against a backdrop of a city at night. The prominent red text at the top declares, Super Production finally released, indicating the game's eagerly anticipated launch. Logos for Mega Drive and Mega CD are displayed, specifically noting it's for the Mega CD. At the bottom, the release date is given as late December, with a price of 9,800 yen, excluding tax. This page acts as a major advertisement for the first game in the beloved Lunar series on the platform. This page is dedicated to exciting new releases for the Mega Drive and Mega CD, captured under the banner Enthralled! Mega! The top section highlights Star Wars, presented as an SF fantasy movie masterpiece based on the first and second films, episodes IV and V. The artwork features iconic imagery, like X-Wings in battle, an Atwalker on a snowy landscape, and stormtroopers. Below, on the left, is a preview of Dai Hoshin Den, described as a grand SF spectacle RPG, set against 3,000 years of Chinese history, based on classic literature. The page displays character artwork and screenshots showing village and battlefield scenes. This title is slated for release in late December for 8,800 yen. To the right, the legendary fighting series is featured with special Fatal Fury Special. The vibrant character artwork showcases the game's roster, and a screenshot displays a fight between Terry Bogard and Joe Higashi. The text emphasizes the intense battles to become the world's strongest fighter, noting that even bosses like Geese Howard and Wolfgang Krauser are playable. This fighting game is also scheduled for a late December release at 8,800 yen. This page dives into the world of CD gaming with the CD World banner, highlighting original story-driven experiences and simulators. Featured prominently is Star Wars, Rebel Assault, Presented as the ultimate simulator based on the movie saga, it promises an immersive experience incorporating actual movie cutscenes, the iconic soundtrack, and realistic voice acting. Players start as a rebel recruit, undergoing training before facing off against the Imperial forces in dogfights, with the ultimate goal being the attack on the Death Star. This highly praised title is already on sale for 8,800 yen. Below, we see Samurai Showdown, a legendary fighting game. The text sets it up as redefining the history of the genre. Featuring 12 distinct swordsmen, it offers both a story mode with individual endings and visual scenes for each character, and a versus mode, where players can choose their favorite fighter from the roster to battle friends. This highly anticipated fighter is scheduled for a December release at 8,800 yen. Finally, there's Soulstar, a high-speed 360-degree 3D shooting game. It boasts expansive space environments across 23 areas, 17 bases, totaling 40 diverse locations. The gameplay incorporates dynamic polygon animation and varies terrain, with separate controls for maneuvering and weapons like special attacks and power/shield upgrades, allowing for strategic play. It even includes a 2-player co-op mode, and this shooter is slated for an early December release for 8,000 yen. This page presents the fighting game Power Instinct, known as Guketsuji Ichizoku in Japan. Featured prominently is the striking character Onyume Goketsuji, one of the game's memorable fighters. The game is centered around a tournament within the powerful Goketsuji clan to decide its next head. It highlights several modes, including a practice mode to hone your skills, a life attack mode where you see how many opponents you can defeat on a single life bar, noted as a Super Famicom original, and a team battle royal mode, noted as a Mega Drive original, allowing for team-based combat. Consumer versions also feature original ending visuals. Screenshots display the game's intense fighting action. The Super Famicom version is already available at 10,500 yen, while the Mega Drive version is scheduled for release on November 18th at 9,800 yen, both on 24 meg cartridges. This page is an advert for Yoyogi Animation Gakuen, showcasing courses in animation, manga, and voice acting with a high success rate and free trial events. This page is the cover of the second issue of the multi-platform game magazine, Game Blast, published by SoftBank. The cover features a dramatic fantasy illustration and announces the issue is now on sale. Key features include interviews with real-world martial artists discussing the new era of fighting games, and an article exploring virtual creatures you can raise, ranging from racehorses to cockroaches. The magazine covers new releases like Brandish 3, Legend of the Galactic Heroes IV, and Powered Doll 2, and reviews numerous titles across PC-98, DOS/V, Macintosh FM Towns, and Sega Saturn. Notable reviews include Return to Zork, Microsoft Flight Simulator, Super Street Fighter 2, and Virtua Fighter. It also includes a beginner's guide to SimCity 2000. A special appendix is offered, a trial version of Alone in the Dark, 2-on-2 3.5 discs, for the PC-9821. Overall, it looks like a comprehensive guide covering a wide array of games and platforms from the early 90s. This page is the cover of Sega Saturn magazine, issue released on November 17th, priced at 540 yen. It boldly declares itself the next-generation game magazine, offering perfect support for the Sega Saturn. The cover features a striking image of Akira Yuki from Virtua Fighter, alongside screenshots of the game showcasing Sarah Bryant vs. Dural and Jackie Bryant vs. Lemieux Chan. The Sega Saturn console itself is also prominently displayed. Key features highlighted include a complete deep dive into the Sega Saturn hardware and a complete master guide for Virtua Fighter. The magazine promises introductions to over 50 Sega Saturn software titles, including new releases such as Wanchai Connection, Shinsetsu Yumemi Yakata, Clockwork Knight, Mahjong Goku Tenjiku, Tama, Myst, Gota, and Daytona USA, suggesting a broad coverage of the console's early library. Published by SoftBank, this cover effectively promotes the magazine as the essential resource for anyone interested in Sega's new generation console. This page introduces the Victor V Saturn, a fully compatible version of the next-generation 32-bit Sega Saturn system. It presents a V declaration, highlighting the console's key features. The first point emphasizes amazing high-definition visuals and realistic sound, boasting dual-RISC CPUs, high-speed 3D polygon capabilities, 16.7 million colors, and 32-channel sound. The second point highlights the system's potential for multimedia expansion, including support for video CD, music, and educational software. The third point announces the arrival of popular arcade games, featuring screenshots from titles like Virtua Fighter, Clockwork Knight, Shinsetsu Yumemi Yakata, and the racing game Gale Racer, promising an exciting library. The page prominently displays the Victor v Saturn console itself. This page is a promotional spread for the Victor vs. Saturn, the JVC version of the Sega Saturn console. It features the model Misato Sugano, expressing excitement about the system, alongside the console itself and its controller. The page announces the model number RGJX1 and its planned release in late November, highlighting it as a next-generation virtual game machine and celebrating its birth. This page is an advertisement for an entertainment media academy that is recruiting students for the 1995 academic year. It highlights exclusive live classes with industry professionals. The academy offers courses in computer game creation, game graphic and CG animation, and voice acting talent, each designed to train the next generation of professionals with practical, comprehensive instruction from experts in their fields. The page shows images of classrooms filled with computers, students learning, and mentions industry support from Pony Canyon. It also provides information on how to request course details and attend entrance briefing sessions. This page is the table of contents for the December 1994 issue of BeepMD. It lays out a packed issue covering the latest and greatest from Sega and beyond. Major features include deep dives into the brutal fighting of Mortal Kombat 2, and special reports on the highly anticipated Sonic and Knuckles, and the popular puzzle game Puyo Puyo 2. A significant portion is dedicated to the upcoming Sega Saturn and Super 32X launches, highlighted as a double feature counting down to release and focusing on launch titles like Virtua Fighter for the Saturn and exploring what the 32X brings to the table. AM2 Lab weighs in on the progress of Virtua Fighter 2 on the Saturn. The B-Mega Hot Menu section covers new releases such as the action RPG story of Thor, the challenging Alien Soldier, and the classic Fighter Samurai Showdown. The Mega CD Press brings news on Sega CD titles like the light gun sequel Lethal Enforcers 2, the tactical RPG Ogre Battle, and the space shooter Soulstar. The page also lists numerous regular columns covering Sega news, reader feedback, industry insights from developers like Treasure and Ancients, updates on Sonic, and sections for Game Gear, Mega LND, and even Neo Geo. Is also mention of a special bound-in supplement for Lunar, Eternal Blue, and the page includes images of the Sega Saturn console and a Virtua Fighter 2 screenshot, fitting for the focus on Sega's new hardware. This page dives into the latest sales data for Sega platforms and the arcade scene. The top 15 game software sales chart for Mega Drive, Mega CD, and Game Gear is led by Langrisser 2, known as Warsong 2 internationally, followed by Yu Yu Hakusho, Meikyu Toitsusen, and Mortal Kombat 2 for the Mega Drive. Other notable titles in the top 15 include Contra, Hardcore, Star Wars, Rebel Assault on Mega CD, the recently released Sonic and Knuckles, and puzzle hit Puyo Puyo 2. The analysis notes that while there isn't one massive eyeball title this month, the upcoming Sega Saturn launch is generating significant buzz and anticipation for its potential impact on sales. Below the console charts, the page looks at the arcade scene with a top 5 list. The talk here is all about the impending arrival of Virtua Fighter 2, which is expected to be a massive hit. The current popular arcade games listed include the original Virtua Fighter, King of Fighters 94, the light gun shooter Virtua Cop, Super Street Fighter 2X, and Guketsuji Ichizoku 2. This page focuses on what Mega Drive users are hoping to see ported and upcoming games they are anticipating. First, we have the Transplant Wishlist Top 20, showing games users want brought to Sega platforms. The magazine mentions the upcoming Super 32X launch on December 3rd for 16,800 yen, and hints that hidden gems might appear for it, suggesting ports might be a temporary focus for the main system. Games high on this list include the Final Fantasy series, Street Fighter 2-, King of Fighters 94 with a screenshot, Sonic Drift, and Alien vs. Predator with a screenshot. Below this is the anticipated new games top 15. This section lists upcoming titles generating buzz. Puyo Puyo 2 takes the top spot by a significant margin, with the article wondering if it will become a long seller. Lunar, Eternal Blue for the Mega CD and Samurai Showdown are also highly anticipated. Screenshots are shown for Puyo Puyo 2, Lunar Eternal Blue, Samurai Showdown vs. R Deluxe, known as VR Troopers internationally, and Metalhead, the latter two highlighting upcoming 32X titles. The anticipation for new releases, especially 32X games, is high. This page presents data from Sega Saturn users, focusing on games they hope to see ported and upcoming titles they are anticipating. This page covers Sega Saturn port wishlists and anticipated upcoming releases. The first major section lists the transplant wishlist top 20 for the Saturn, reflecting games users want brought to the platform. The article notes that while Virtua Fighter ports are important, future Saturn ports could hold significant meaning. Highlights from this list include Darkstalkers, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, shown with a 40% realization rate screenshot. The King of Fighters, 94, Ridge Racer, Wing War, shown with a 60% realization rate screenshot. Princess Maker 2, and Sonic the Hedgehog series games. Below, the anticipated new games top 15 checks the popularity of software releasing soon for the Saturn. Virtua Fighter tops this list by a large margin, shown with a screenshot, followed by Daytona USA, also with a screenshot. Other titles with screenshots include Shinsetsu Yume Pal Ukoku and Victory Goal. Worldwide Soccer 9. This section shows a growing excitement for the Saturn's library, as more anticipated titles are announced, including tentative ports like Virtua Racing Saturn and Echo the Dolphin Saturn. The next page features the BeepMD Dog Race section, showcasing new and upcoming Sega Mega Drive and Game Gear software. It highlights reviews for two key titles, Sonic and Knuckles, released in October, and Samurai Showdown, released in November, each accompanied by a screenshot. Multiple reviewers, including a beginner girl, a foreign user, a game enthusiast group, and a general user, provide their scores and commentary on these games. Sonic and Knuckles is praised for its lock-on system innovation and is considered a strong entry, especially when combined with previous Sonic titles. Reviewers note the enjoyable puzzle-like bonus stages and the new character Knuckles. Samurai Showdown on the Mega Drive is noted for its popularity from Neo Geo and its appearance on the platform, featuring team battles and 11 swordsmen. While some reviewers feel it captures the essence, others find certain aspects lacking compared to the original arcade version. The page utilizes a 10-point scoring system explained in a sidebar. This page features reviews for new Mega Drive/Gear games, including Sonic and Knuckles and Samurai Showdown, with scores from multiple reviewers. The next page continues the game reviews, featuring 4 more titles for the Mega Drive. Reviewed here are Power Instinct, the quirky fighting game known for its unusual characters. Tecmo Super Bowl II Special Edition, an American football simulation praised for its depth and data. Tom and Jerry, an action title that despite its cute appearance is noted for its surprising difficulty. And Puyo Puyo 2, the highly anticipated sequel to the popular puzzle game, which is reviewed positively for its improvements and expanded options. Reviewers offer their thoughts on gameplay, graphics, and overall enjoyment, providing scores that reflect a range of experiences with these new releases. This page features reviews for 4 more titles. We have After Armageddon Gaiden, Eclipse, an RPG set in a post-apocalyptic fantasy world where demons rise up, noted for its detailed setting but also some dated elements. Next is Lethal Enforcers 2, Gunfighters, the arcade light gun shooter port bringing the Wild West action home with 2-player support. Then there's Soulstar, an impressive 3D shooter featuring transforming vehicles and smooth scaling effects, lauded for its graphics and music, despite its high difficulty. Finally, Sonic and Tails 2, known internationally as Sonic the Hedgehog Triple Trouble on Game Gear/Master System, is reviewed. The sequel to the popular handheld platformer introducing Knuckles and new gameplay mechanics, with comparisons made to its Mega Drive counterparts. The reviewers offer their scores and opinions on each game's strengths and weaknesses. This page features the Mega Dog Race review section, covering 3 Game Gear titles. First up is Madu Monogatari 2i, Kyukyoku Ju-sama, an RPG that reviewers found charmingly familiar despite being a sequel, with improved controls and presentation details like monster appearances and character expressions. While the story might be a bit vague, it's considered a must-play for fans, though the puzzles are a bit tougher this time around. Next is Ichidanter GG, a port of the popular minigame collection. Players were happy to see it on the handheld, finding the games well suited for the platform and polished, although the number of games is fewer than previous versions. Finally, Fatal Fury Special arrives on Game Gear, an impressive port of the fighting game featuring a selection of key characters. Reviewers were pleasantly surprised by how well the atmosphere translated to the handheld, noting the ease of performing special moves and highlighting the character roster. A small editorial section mentions a fulfilling issue and anticipates many new releases next month. The title with the highest average score this month is highlighted as Sonic and Knuckles. Individual reviewers also provide their top picks, mentioning games reviewed here such as Fatal Fury Special, Madu Monogatari, and Ichidantra, alongside titles from the previous page like Sonic and Knuckles, Sunrise Spirits, and Soulstar, as well as Puyo Puyo 2. This page showcases the B-Mega Reader Race for Mega Drive and Mega CD titles, where readers rank games based on their scores. A large table lists the games ranked by average reader score. 2 games are specifically highlighted this month. Yu Yu Hakusho, Meikyu Toitsusen, holding steady at 6th place, is lauded as an excellent action/fighting game with sharp graphics, multiple battle modes, and impressive audio visuals. Contra Hardcore, ranked 33rd, is praised for its intense action and detailed boss battles, though some find its difficulty punishing and the stage design occasionally unclear. The page also calls out the impressive rise of Langrisser 2 in the rankings, suggesting high reader satisfaction. Lastly, Road Rash is featured in the Other section at 174th place, noted for its thrilling speed and handling, although one reviewer found the later parts repetitive. This page details a portion of the B-Mega Reader Race rankings for Mega Drive and Mega CD games. Notable titles include Mortal Kombat 2 100th, praised for gameplay improvements and character designs but criticized for tough A. RoboCop vs. Terminator 147th, lauded for its action and faithfulness to the source material. Aerobiz Supersonic 166th, considered a solid business sim with improved mechanics. Echo, The Tides of Time 189th, appreciated for its content but noted for high difficulty. And Waile no Kiseki 216th, praised for its unique gameplay challenges. Reader comments also speculate on future rankings and desired ports. A reader contest predicting Echo 2's rank is also mentioned. This page features the 27th entry in the famous Horse Stable Review series, focusing heavily on the groundbreaking title, Virtual Racing. Written by London Kobayashi, the review places the game at 19th in the current reader race standings. The article highlights the immense significance of virtual racing for Sega, particularly M2, as a pioneer in polygonal 3D graphics on home consoles, paving the way for future hits like Virtua Fighter. It discusses the challenge and achievement of porting the arcade hit to the Mega Drive with Sega's SVP chip, noting the freedom of camera control as a key feature. The B-Mega Reader Race rankings continue, showcasing titles from rank 150 down to 232, listing games, genres, and their average reader scores. Reader feedback in the Leave It to the Readers section praises the controls and enjoyability of virtual racing, with comments mentioning the time attack mode and hidden animals on courses, despite the limited number of tracks. There are also thoughts on the 2-player mode and the hope for a future version with more content, referencing the 32X version. The B-Mega Data Betting Slip section reinforces the game's success, noting strong initial sales and reader demand, though pointing out its difficulty to acquire due to no planned re-release. A graph illustrates the distribution of reader votes. This page features reviews and updates from the magazine's staff and reader rankings. The main focus is on the Decision, this magazine's reporter aiming for the core betting ticket segment, highlighting noteworthy games. First up is a review of Lethal Enforcers, a light gun shooter that the reviewer, Yoichi Shibuya, praises for breaking away from standard styles with its impactful, precise shooting action. He notes the game's strong 2-player cooperative mode and the satisfaction of rapid firing, concluding with an enthusiastic call to action to shoot like crazy and kill. The game received a reader score of 7.8828 and a critic score of 6.75. Next, Tecmo Super Bowl, the Mega Drive port of the classic American football game, is discussed. It's highlighted for bringing the popular NES game to the console with real NFL data from 19,911,993. The reviewer finds the game accurately captures the sport's strategy and visual excitement, noting the depth in reading formations and the thrilling visuals. 2 smaller recommendations are also included. Panorama Cotton is listed as a recommended title, noting that this action game, initially hard to get, is being re-released and should be purchased now. Time Dominator is mentioned as a delayed action game from Vic Takai, questioning if the hidden gem will finally see release. The reader rankings continue on the left side, showing games listed from around rank 233 down to 315, detailing their genres and reader scores. This page dives into the world of Game Gear software, presenting the latest results from the GG User Race Reader Ranking. The top of the ranking table on the right features titles like Madhu Monogatari, 2 and I, Nazo Puyo, Arle no Ru, and Shining Force, Sword of Hajia. The page also highlights specific games with screenshots and reader feedback.
Featured as the recommended new horse is Tantor, a collection of minigames.
The screenshot shows one of the puzzle challenges. Readers gave it a high score, praising its graphics and music, though noting the limited number of games and the difficulty of some. 2 games are introduced as opposing horses. The first is Sonic and Tails, known internationally as Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on Game Gear.
The screenshot displays a gameplay scene.
Readers appreciated being able to switch between Sonic and Tails, but found the game significantly different and perhaps not as good as the main series entries, despite a decent reader score. The second opposing horse is Mappy. The screenshot shows classic Mappy gameplay. Reviews mention it differs from the arcade version but remains fun, highlighting the inclusion of different modes and nostalgic music and visuals. Both Sonic and Tails and Mappy received solid, though not top-tier, reader and critic scores. The page also includes extensive reader rankings from the previous page's lower ranks, 316 down to 398, and continues the main ranking list up to rank 56, showing a wide variety of Game Gear titles and their scores. This issue of the magazine features reader rankings for MD per Candela/GG games from 399 to 469. Coca-Cola Kid receives a 7.4 reader score but only a 6.5 critic score. Game Gear rankings 75 to 90 show little change at the top, with compile games consistently high. Sega Saturn software impressions are sought. 2 prediction contests are announced, one for Sonic and Knuckles' ranking debut, and the other for Starblade's Mega CD port. Finally, the Reader Race contest is promoted, with a Sega Saturn and Virtua Fighter as a prize. This page of BeepMD News and Information kicks off with a new radio program called Tropical Republic, hosted by the comedy duo Great Chicken Powers, focusing on all things Sega Saturn. Next, it highlights the upcoming launch of next-generation consoles. The Sony PlayStation is set for release on December 3rd, with impressive specs and a strong lineup of games from 240 licensees, including key Namco titles. Nelix PCFX is also launching soon. Panasonic's 3Do Real gets an update with a new thinner and lighter FZ10 model and promises a range of peripherals. In other hardware news, Sega's Game Gear is finally getting colorful. Responding to high demand, blue, yellow, and smoke gray versions are being released simultaneously, adding some style options beyond the standard black. Finally, a look at some key Namco launch titles for the PlayStation.
Starblade Alpha is a port of the arcade rail shooter, featuring a new texture mode for enhanced visuals. Cybersled brings 3D arena battle action, with split-screen multiplayer and texture mapping. Ridge Racer, a highly anticipated arcade racer, is presented as a perfect port and a launch highlight, offering its signature driving feel and a new original mode for the console. This page of BeepMD News and Information covers various happenings in the gaming world. It starts with an event at Alta, celebrating the release of the Yu Yu Hakusho game on the Genesis, featuring a large screen display and a guest appearance. The 3Do platform is establishing a software rating system, categorizing games as everyone, not for 15 and under, and adults only, shown with an example of an AO-rated title. In other news, Disney characters are now appearing as prizes in UFO catcher machines across Japan, offering items like t-shirts and bags. The soundtrack for Langrisser 2 has been released, featuring orchestral and rock arrangements of the game's music. There's also a mention of a lie detector toy by Takara, suggested for light-hearted fun rather than serious use. The page highlights Sega's latest commercials. One is for Sonic and Knuckles, produced in collaboration with MTV Japan, featuring a unique rock-style presentation with elements like a rocket launch and alien faces. The other is for Power Instinct,
a late-night spot featuring the character Otane in a creepy, visually striking manner with SFX makeup, filmed in a historical Western-style house. These new CMS signal a livelier era for Sega's advertising, especially with the upcoming Sega Saturn launch. This page features a heartbeat interview with Shigeto Kensuke, an artist and game developer. He discusses his profile, including his birth date and past work, on the Godzilla theme song, and the game date of birth. Kensuke shares his gaming preferences, noting his enjoyment of Sega Genesis titles like Toe Jam and Earl and Landstalker. He also expresses anticipation for Sonic and Knuckles. He mentions starting gaming with Space Invaders in junior high, and still actively buying games. The interview highlights his first foray into development, with the Yu Yu Hakusho game for 3Do, where he handled character design, opening movie, and field objects. He expresses satisfaction with the project, emphasizing the importance of teamwork in game creation. He also touches on game pricing, feeling some are too expensive, but noting Sega's games are generally affordable compared to platforms like Saturn. Below the interview is a new release section, showcasing recent music cruds and video releases. This includes new singles and albums from artists like Hiroko Moriguchi, Dual Dream, Ruriko Kubo, Da Bubblegum Brothers, and Mayuki Hiramatsu. The section also lists the soundtrack for The King of Fighters 94 and video releases from SMAP and Yuji Nakano, covering live performances, music, and nature themes. This Mortal Kombat 2 review praises the game's intense atmosphere, distinctive world, and iconic violence. The article highlights the evolution from the first game, emphasizing the increased fatalities and introduction of friendships. The reviewer notes the game's popularity internationally, but less so in Japan, and anticipates the movie adaptation. A staff favorite, the article includes gameplay tips for two-player matches, focusing on blocking, counterattacks, and projectile evasion. Basic game details like publisher, Acclaim Japan, price, 8,800 yen, and cartridge size, 24 megabit, are also provided. This page dives further into the world of Mortal Kombat 2, offering some intriguing secrets and highlights. It kicks off by revealing a hidden ultimate move for Shang Tsung, the Dragon Capture Fist, which is actually the brutal transformation fatality where he changes into Kintaro. Performing it requires holding down the low punch button for over 30 seconds at the right distance. The page also lists several mysteries of MK2, pondering things like why Reptile seems to disappear during his transformation, who the old man is that sometimes appears with Shang Tsung's uppercut, what's truly inside the box Baraka gives in his friendship, and why the character models might look different in the Japanese version. For a bit of fun, there's a suggestion to use the Mortal Kombat 2 CD's test mode to listen to the music as background environmental software, and a nod to using friendship finishers to mess with opponents. The main event featured is a summit showdown between staff from Acclaim Japan and the magazine itself, battling it out in a Beast of 5 Mortal Kombat 2 match. Pictures show the setup and the competitors from both sides. To get readers involved, there's a contest to predict the outcome of this epic clash, with awesome prizes like Mortal Kombat 2 posters and actual store display standees up for grabs for the winners. As a bonus, readers could get a special label to stick on their original Mortal Kombat cartridge. This page features a major special report on the brand new Sonic & Knuckles, highlighting its unique lock-on system. It's presented not just as a simple sequel to Sonic 3, but as a title that can be combined with Sonic 3 to create a complete version of the game, offering new features and depth. The story section touches upon the events following Sonic 3, where Drive Robotnik's Death Egg fell back onto Angel Island. Knuckles, the guardian of the island, is introduced as a major rival, protecting something mysterious. The adventure begins on the island, promising to reveal secrets tied to Dr. Robotnik's plans and the legendary Super Rings. The page specifically introduces Knuckles as a new playable character, highlighting his abilities after being tricked by Robotnik in Sonic 3. Key points covered are his gliding ability like a flying squirrel, which allows for aerial movement, his ability to climb vertical walls, opening up new routes previously inaccessible to Sonic and Tails, and his powerful punch that can break certain walls and obstacles, providing secret paths only he can access. The feature emphasizes that playing as Knuckles offers a completely different perspective and strategy for tackling the game's maps and bosses, especially when combined with Sonic 3. This page explores Sonic and Knuckles, focusing on Zone 7, Mushroom Hill, and Zone 8, Flying Battery. Mushroom Hill, a vertically oriented mushroom forest, challenges players with large mushrooms and springy parasols. Flying Battery, a mechanical airship stage, presents rotating flamethrowers and dropping bombs, increasing difficulty. The page also details the lock-on system. Connecting Sonic and Knuckles to Sonic 3 enables full Sonic 3 functionality, including character selection and saves, while separate save data is maintained. Linking to Sonic 2 allows Knuckles to play through Sonic 2 levels with added climbing and gliding, but without save capabilities. Connecting to other Genesis/Mega Drive carts activates a bonus special stage game. This page details more zones in Sonic and Knuckles. Zone 9, Sandopolis, features a desert stage with quicksand, pyramid layouts, and timed traps. Key enemies include a spiked ball thrower and an invincible rock mimic. Zone 10, Lava Reef, presents a volcanic island with floating platforms and molten rock. A fire shield is a vital power-up. Enemies include a dropping bomb boss and shaking spiked ball. The page also introduces bonus stages, including special stages for collecting Chaos Emeralds, crucial to becoming supersonic. Other bonus stages, unlocked via the lock-on feature with other cartridges, include a slot machine and vertical sphere bouncing stages. This Sonic and Knuckles walkthrough concludes with the final zones. Hidden Palace Zone, Zone 11, features a boss fight against Robotnik in a mech, with Knuckles observing. Lock-on technology, combining with Sonic 3, creates a complete game with 14 Sonic, 13 Tails, and 12 Knuckles zones, each with unique endings. Sky Sanctuary Zone, Zone 12, has Mecha Sonic, and Death Egg Zone, Zone 13, playable by Sonic and Tails, presents difficult platforming and a challenging Mecha Sonic boss fight. Surprisingly, inserting cartridges other than Sonic 2 or 3 with lock-on triggers a puzzle mode accessed by pressing ABC simultaneously, featuring bonus stage-like elements. This page presents a special report on Puyo Puyo 2 for the Sega Genesis, released in December 1994. The article highlights that the popular arcade puzzle game is back with significant improvements. While visually similar to the original Puyo Puyo, the game introduces several key features that make it a distinct and enhanced experience. These include displaying the current chain count during gameplay and adding a counter mechanism that allows players to nullify incoming garbage Puyos by making their own chains. A quick turn feature is introduced, enabling faster piece rotation. Furthermore, there are now 3 types of garbage Puyos, adding new strategic layers. The game also displays the next 2 upcoming Puyos, allowing for more planning. The number of voice samples has dramatically increased, and an all-clear bonus is awarded for clearing the entire field. The page features character art and screenshots illustrating these new features, emphasizing that Puyo Puyo 2 is a much deeper and more strategic game than its predecessor. This page dives deeper into the exciting single-player Alone Puyo Puyo mode of Puyo Puyo 2, highlighting the significant increase in characters compared to the first game. The core of this mode is climbing a multi-story tower, battling unique opponents on each level to earn experience points and progress. The article explains that the initial opponent for each level is chosen via a roulette, offering a degree of player control over who they face first. The tower itself is depicted as the main stage, with a hint of mystery surrounding the powerful opponent waiting at the top. A key draw is the vast roster of quirky characters you encounter across the different levels and groups, featuring both returning favorites and new faces like Suketodara, Witch, Sketsawegi, Rulu, Harpy, Nasugrave, Mummy, Skeleton to Menace, and ultimately, Dracula and Satan, among many others spread across the tower's floors and final groups. The game also boasts a very detailed options menu, allowing players to customize various aspects like difficulty, battle rules including chain mechanics, match length and multiplayer, time limits, and button configurations, ensuring a tailored experience. There's even a humorous note about the game over screen, commenting on Arle's appearance. We also learn that Arle's voice in this installment is provided by Asami Inoue. This page delves into the versatile 2-player Puyo Puyo mode, emphasizing the incredible depth of rule customization that offers endless replayability, far exceeding the previous game. It highlights a total of 6 distinct modes, including some unique to the Genesis/Mega Drive version. Beyond the standard normal rules, you can choose variations like Point Puyo, which rewards strategic scoring, Hard Puyo, where garbage is more durable, 6-piece clear, or 2-piece clear modes that drastically change clearing conditions, and the standout Edit mode. Edit mode is described as the ultimate option, allowing players to fine-tune almost every rule imaginable, from clear requirements to the types of Puyo that appear, promising a truly customized experience. The article also includes a fun Puyo Puyo Ecology Encyclopedia, classifying the various Puyo types. It details the familiar colored Puyo and their behaviors, but most interestingly, showcases the different types of obstacle puyo, or garbage, that can be sent to opponents. These include the standard obstacle puyo, larger big puyo, and increasingly durable types like hard puyo, rock puyo, star puyo, and crown puyo, which require multiple clears to remove. There's also point puyo, which gives bonus points when cleared. The specific type of garbage sent can even vary depending on whether you're playing against a human or computer opponent. The page features various screenshots illustrating these modes and puyo types, alongside character art including Arlay and some of the quirky creatures from the game. This page kicks off the new release scramble, highlighting upcoming games.
First up is Tecmo Super Bowl II Special Edition.
This is a deep dive into American football based on the NFL. Known for its robust gameplay, the Special Edition boasts significantly improved graphics, featuring a larger field and bigger player sprites compared to previous entries. A major focus is on the extensive data, covering NFL teams and players from '92 to '94. The article points out the detailed formation options and strategic plays available, making it a powerhouse simulation for football fans. Screenshots showcase the on-field action, player stats, and the detailed play-calling interface. Following that is Tom and Jerry. Jumping from the cartoon world, this is presented as an action game. The core premise involves Tom chasing down whoever wrecked his house. The gameplay description mentions a unique move where you can roll like Sonic by pressing down during a dash. In the two-player mode, the characters you control change depending on the stage, adding variety. It's described as a fairly standard action system. Screenshots display platforming environments with the iconic cat and mouse characters and other elements from the cartoon. The page also lists After Armageddon, though it is not detailed within this content block. This page features a deep dive into After Armageddon, Eclipse, an RPG that boldly breaks from convention. The scenario, crafted by cult game creator Kenji Eno, sets the stage on Earth after humanity's demise, where demons rule and humans are raised as livestock. You play as a party of 5 demon heroes, which the reviewer highlights as a refreshing departure from typical RPG tropes centered around human protagonists and idealized fantasy. The world is described as a desolate wasteland with no shops, forcing players to synthesize items from dust. The reviewer praises the detailed encyclopedia system, which logs everything from character growth to encountered monsters and learned spells, calling it addictive. Combat is noted for its powerful presentation, showcasing the intensity of demon battles. Screenshots reveal character stats, battle sequences, an overhead map view, and the item synthesis interface. The article conveys excitement for this unique and intense RPG experience. Below that, a brief section titled New Release Stray Info gives quick glimpses of upcoming titles. Shown are screenshots for Mickey Mania, the timeless adventures of Mickey Mouse, a platformer, a game based on the anime Slam Dunk, the superhero beat-em-up X-Men, and a racing game titled Grand Racer. This page kicks off a multi-game feature titled Be Mega Hot Menu. It dives into the action RPG Beyond Oasis, known in Japan as The Story of Thor, a successor of the Light. The reviewer highlights the game's rich action elements, stating it surpasses previous action RPGs. The focus is on the protagonist, Ali, and his command input-based special moves, drawing a comparison to fighting games. Players must discover these techniques themselves to gain an advantage in combat. Screenshots and descriptions detail several key moves. The spin attack, performed by rotating the directional input, and pressing attack, which is great for hitting multiple enemies when surrounded. The dash attack, executed by double-tapping a direction and attacking, offering more damage than a standard swing and often knocking down foes. And the jump attack, a move performed from a jump using specific directional inputs and attack, particularly effective on enemies below. Beyond combat, Ali can also jump over traps and summon spirits for assistance, emphasizing the blend of action and RPG elements. The game information confirms it's a single-player action RPG and lists other games featured in this menu, including Power Instinct, Alien Soldier, and Samurai Showdown. The page promises to delve into the mid-game scenario later. This page continues the Be Mega Hot Menu feature on the action RPG Beyond Oasis. Following the initial adventures, the story moves to the frontline base, where the protagonist Ali receives news of a mysterious enemy base. Tasked by the king, Ali sets off again towards the water shrine, encountering obstacles like a blocked path, requiring the help of the fire spirit. Ifrit. The section shows Ali facing various enemies and highlights a confrontation with a large knight-like enemy, emphasizing that some barriers can't be overcome with just the sword, but require ranged attacks like arrows or spirit powers. A side note reminds players about a secret concerning the fish in the pond. Instead of defeating the fish that jump onto land, waiting for them to self-destruct yields health recovery items. The lower part of the page features a short manga segment centering on the water spirit, Dit. It shows Dit joining Ali and expressing confidence in facing enemies now that Dit is a companion. Another panel explains one of Dit's abilities as high-speed teleport system, which allows many enemies to be defeated simultaneously, reinforcing Dit's usefulness in combat. The comic concludes with Ali relying on Dit's power. This page continues the journey in Beyond Oasis. Following the events at the frontline base, Ali sets sail and arrives at a mysterious island, which is revealed to be the enemy's main base. The island presents more challenging enemies and traps than previously encountered. The page highlights an encounter with a mysterious black-cloaked man, identified as Gwyn, who is shown on a boat, adding intrigue to the narrative. Stronger foes like the Golem are also introduced, showcasing their powerful attacks. The feature also presents a selection of items players will find, obtained by defeating enemies or opening chests. These items are rendered in detailed 3D graphics by the game's developers. Key items include the mushroom for healing, the elixir for revival, the bow for ranged attacks, and the Ifrit call, which allows summoning the fire spirit Ifrit without requiring nearby fire. Various other useful items like different colored keys and an unknown lantern are also previewed. A short comic featuring the water spirit, Dit, provides humorous gameplay tips. It explains Ditrit's whirlwind attack is effective against groups of enemies and reminds players to be mindful of their limited SP early in the game. The comic concludes with a funny panel depicting Ali being defeated by the Golem after the tips are given. This page is dedicated to the fighting game Power Instinct, known in Japan as Guketsuji Ichizoku, on the Sega Mega Drive. It acts as a comprehensive guide, promising to teach players winning strategies against the computer opponent. The article highlights the various modes available, including the unique Battle Royale mode which supports large team battles, a practice mode for refining skills, and a quirky karaoke mode for singing along to stage music. The feature then provides focused tactics for specific characters, offering concise tips and visual demonstrations for Annie Hamilton, Oyama Reiji, Guketsuji Otane, and Hachiju Saizu. These sections show examples of key moves and combos to help players overcome these opponents and fully enjoy the game. This page continues the guide to the fighting game Power Instinct on the Sega Mega Drive, focusing on fundamental tactics and character strategies. It highlights key game mechanics, such as the useful dash attack, which allows for quick approaches and increased power, and the unique two-stage jump, enabling diverse aerial maneuvers and attacks. The article also humorously touches on the game's distinct and sometimes bizarre characters, in a section titled The Kirateru Family, reflecting on their unusual traits like character transformations. Separate sections offer strategic tips and visual combo examples for several fighters, including the challenging Keith Wayne, the powerful White Buffalo, the hard-to-approach Angela Belty, and the talisman-wielding Chin Tai Mei, guiding players on how to best tackle these opponents. A brief message from one of the game's creators is also included. This page provides an update on the upcoming Sega Mega Drive title, Alien Soldier. The article details the game's development progress, stating it is currently 30% complete and being developed specifically for Mega Driver-heavy users, indicating a challenging experience. The developers share a message expressing their passion for the game. The focus is primarily on Stage 2, showcasing new enemies and bosses. Screenshots highlight intense action and several distinct creatures. One prominent boss featured is Love Penguin, shown attacking with various hand-like forms, including attacks described as Handblade, Momite, likely needing hands or similar, and Group Fan, Congregation Fan. The article also introduces a serpentine creature, described as a modified organism with flexible joints. A small quiz asks readers to identify which finger on Love Penguin is extended. The page emphasizes the exciting, high-intensity development of Stage 2, promising it will feel far beyond an early-stage level. This page continues the look at Alien Soldier, detailing the intense boss encounters that await players after defeating Love Penguin. The article introduces a series of formidable foes, including the modified Plant Sting, the colossal Bee Viblack, the spider Backstringer, and eventually confronting Ypsilon 2 at high altitude, before facing off against a fleet of combat aircraft. The page features a series of screenshots showcasing these unique and visually distinct bosses, with a note that the heated development ahead is presented through sequential images. Below the game coverage, the page announces the results of the 7-Force Kaid Transformation Pattern Contest. This fan design competition invited readers to submit creative transformation concepts for a boss character, building on the transforming boss archetype seen in Treasure's games. The contest highlights the developers' engagement with the community. The winning entries, including the top excellent work titled Handhammer, and 3 excellent works like Hedgehog Force and Sonic the Mouse, are displayed with illustrations and brief descriptions, demonstrating impressive fan creativity judged by the development team. The page concludes by listing the winners of telephone cards. This page announces the highly anticipated Mega Drive version of Samurai Showdown is finally here. The focus is immediately on the game's iconic antagonist, Amakusa Shiro Tokisada, who is fully playable in this port. The article features a bold statement from Amakusa himself, declaring he is the main character this time around. The page then delves into Amakusa's impressive abilities, showcasing 4 of his key special moves, including his Spirit Projectile, a charged Dark Thunder attack, a powerful wall jump-based move, and his signature teleport. Screenshots illustrate each technique. Basic normal moves are also highlighted as being surprisingly strong despite their simplicity. Finally, a message from the Sega staff expresses their dedication to making this port exciting and hopes it lives up to player expectations. This page features reader letters, a lively corner where fans share their thoughts on games and life. The main sections are dedicated to reader submissions, including letters from wandering readers and the Mega Talk. Readers write in about their experiences with the Mega Drive, Mega CD, and the newly released Saturn. One reader shares their excitement about buying a lottery ticket, while another recounts successfully receiving something from Sega after inquiring about a campaign. There are discussions about game music, with one fan expressing a preference for heavy metal in games like Crusader of Senti. Other letters touch upon specific titles like Dragon Quest and Langrisser, and the perceived demographics playing them. One particularly interesting submission details how playing columns in Sonic on the Mega Drive helped a reader cope after a divorce and eventually find happiness again, noting how the MD is now cherished. Another reader describes an encounter with a person obsessed with phone calls and their eventual purchase of a Saturn. The page captures the diverse perspectives and personal connections players had with their Sega systems. This page features a lively debate among readers regarding the inclusion of eki, or erotic content, in Sega Mega Drive games. The discussion highlights differing views on whether such content belongs on the platform, its impact on game quality, and the distinction between erotic elements used as a means versus a primary purpose in a game. Some readers argue that a wider range of software, including GAL games and eki titles, is acceptable as long as quality is maintained, while others express strong opposition, fearing it dilutes the hardware's identity or leads to lazy design. There's also commentary on the market trend of ports from other platforms and how it relates to content suitability. Below the main discussion, there are various reader submissions and fan art. Highlights include a short comic featuring Sonic and Tails, a drawing of Dynamite Headdy receiving praise, and fan art of characters like Zangief from Street Fighter, and a crossover drawing featuring a Sailor Moon character in a fighting pose. Other submissions touch upon personal gaming experiences and events like the Joyopolis theme park. The page captures a broad spectrum of reader opinions and creative expressions related to their passion for Sega games. This page features the R's Voice section, where Sega fans voice their opinions. Readers discuss the Sega 32X, expressing hope for more third-party games, but noting Namco's focus on Mega CD ports like Collections and Parodius, as well as the arcade hit Ribble Rabble. There's frustration with the numerous AC adapters needed for connecting the Mega Drive, Mega CD2, and 32X. Others comment on the quality of game music, contrasting cheap BGM with desired orchestral scores for RPGs and epic music for shooters. An interesting point is raised about games providing an escape for sick children, contrasted with the debate around erotic content, and a humorous mention of CNN incorrectly calling Nintendo the Super Genesis. Readers also share thoughts on the quality of arcade ports, particularly fighting games, and the challenges developers face with hardware constraints. Below this is the Create the Era Sega user section, inviting further feedback. The Illustration City showcases reader art, including a grand prize winner featuring Sonic the Hedgehog, 3 characters playing soccer, a drawing inspired by Flashback, and art related to Samurai Showdown. They announce a new grand prize category for illustrations. Finally, the Hitokoto from Beeple section offers brief, random thoughts from readers, like the cancellation of Power Drift, questions about Dynamite Heady plushies, the meaning of Contra, and opinions on Sega Saturn-related campaigns. This page features more reader contributions, kicking off with Game Rumors and Truths. Readers share quirky observations, like the rumor that using Sonic's spin dash makes your money disappear, Raiden from Mortal Kombat's apparent fondness for the word love, and speculation about Dr. Eggman's real identity. Some of these are humorously debunked. Adjacent sections offer game techniques, including advice on managing multiple AC adapters, a point of frustration from the previous page, and even a method for improving game audio using an equalizer. A silly assumption technique for Puyo Puyo is also featured. The main focus is the Game of Beeple project, where readers submit ideas for game worlds, characters, and stories. Concepts highlighted include a tribe based on ancient shamanism who possess psychic powers and vanish when observed, and a group whose members communicate using waka poetry and whose songs can influence reality. Illustrations depict some of these unique character designs, showcasing the creativity of the readers contributing to potential future Sega titles. This magazine issue features humorous columns focusing on niche gaming interests. Fetish-specific recommended MD software highlights games with unusual themes, including one about butt attacks. The King's Ears provides fictional character monologues. MegaDrive Mania reflects on the MegaDrive era. Advanced Recruitment seeks submissions for Patsukin Heaven software. Super Junk Present shares a reader's embarrassing childhood memory. My Castle depicts a cluttered gamer space. Are you gay? Award prompts submissions about suspicious game characters. The information section promotes submissions for various content. Finally, a software giveaway winner list and correction are included. This page features a special report from Planet Sega Stadium, Volume 12, focusing on the Sonic and Knuckles World Championship. Presented by Sega just before the Sega Saturn launch, the article expresses disbelief at having traveled to America amidst the busy schedule. The report details the Japanese qualifier held at Yokosuka Joysapolis on October 9th. The winner, Rondon Kobayashi, a 25-year-old freelance writer, led the Sega of Japan team to San Francisco. The article humorously notes his composure during the flight, quickly transitioning from excitement at the window view to sleeping. Remarkably, the World Championship itself took place on Alcatraz Island. 20 champions from America, Europe, and Japan competed on the infamous former prison island for a grand prize of $25,000. Accompanying photos chronicled the journey, including Kobayashi meeting Sonic creator Yuji Naka and riding in a Sonic Blue open car. Another set of photos depicts the arrival on Alcatraz Island via what's described as a prisoner transport bus. The report adds a comedic touch, mentioning Kobayashi's failed attempt to escape from the bus window, highlighting the intense pressure from the strict security and the tournament itself on the Japanese representative. This page concludes the report on the Sonic and Knuckles World Championship on Alcatraz Island. The final day saw champions dressed in prisoner attire and transported with heavy security. Interviews were a constant fixture, with Japanese representative London Kobayashi facing the media storm, his translator from Sega of America noting the pressure he felt. The competition focused on a specific challenge within Sonic and Knuckles, requiring players to collect rings in Knuckles mode. Despite having no prior experience with this specific challenge, Kobayashi demonstrated impressive skill during practice, surprising everyone with his flawless play. While he didn't win the $25,000 prize, he reached the semifinals and finished fourth globally, earning the nickname Mysterious Japanese and gaining American fans. The article ends with a dramatic yet humorous note about Kobayashi taking responsibility for his loss and symbolically plunging into the Alcatraz Sea, a battle the magazine states will not be forgotten. The page is accompanied by photos showing the intensity of the day, the interviews, and the memorable final moments. This page features Treasure Factory number 19, starting with the results of the Heady High Score contest. After gathering entries from the September issue, the competition proved to be incredibly high level, surprising even the developers, especially with the 39 secret bonuses. The top score of 588,800 was achieved by Kenji Nomura from Tokyo. An in-house score of 605,900 is also shown, considered close to the theoretical limit. A small bonus drawing of Sonic the Hedgehog is included. Further down, we have a useful industry lecture dedicated to aspiring creators, featuring Mr. Maekawa. He discusses the rapidly growing game market and the challenges within the industry, particularly highlighting issues with game distribution, which is non-refundable for retailers and carries significant risk. With dozens of new titles releasing monthly, evaluating content is nearly impossible. Finally, the Kyo's Nakano Sakagami Network column presents a discussion about game development ideas between three individuals. They touch on concepts like making games requested by friends, avoiding certain genres like racing games, and even suggesting a game focused on a character's head. This section is accompanied by a dynamic sketch featuring various character faces. This page features a story manga based on the intense Sega Mega Drive game, Alien Soldier, titled The Mystery Deepens. Alien Soldier story manga. The author humorously notes that this comic expands on the lore not fully shown in the game, admitting their art might not be perfect, as they are primarily a programmer. The manga panels depict key characters from the game's universe, including the protagonist Epsilon 2, Zero Wing, and other entities, exploring their relationships and origins. Dialogue hints at conflicts with antagonists, like the Seven Force pilot and the mysterious Beta Wises, touching on themes of identity, purpose, and the nature of the characters, as either biological or mechanical/symbiotic. It offers a glimpse into the deeper narrative treasure created for this action-packed title. Below the manga, there are two sections. One is a serious recruitment advertisement from Treasure, seeking experienced, top-tier programmers for Saturn development, stressing the need for ability and determination. The other is a call for reader postcards for the Treasure Factory feature in the magazine's editorial section. This page features content from the Sonic Tsushin, Sonic Communications section, edited by Sonic Company, Limited. The main focus is the release of the music CD for the Sega CD title Shining Force CD. The article is presented as a dialogue between two staff members, discussing the CD, its lengthy official title, and featuring an illustration of the cover jacket titled Symphonic Suite, The Another Story of Shining Force. They mention having the composer, Mr. Takeuchi, as a guest. Below this is the Sony Tsushin Mania reader contribution section. Here, fans share which Shining Force character they would want as a romantic partner. Readers from various prefectures submit illustrations and comments, picking characters like Sarah, May, Hans, Graham the Centaur, and others from the series, explaining their preferences and reasons. It's a fun look at fan interactions with the characters from the popular tactical RPG series. This page is a large advertisement from Santa, a Sega specialty store. It features a vast mail-order price list for Sega Saturn, Mega CD, Mega Drive, 32X, and Game Gear hardware, and a huge selection of software titles, highlighting tax-free pricing. The next page is an advertisement for the Namco Graffiti One, a complete preservation edition dedicated to the history of Namco games. This special release revisits the classic Namco Community magazine, bringing back content and insights from Namco's past. The package includes a bonus CD featuring game sounds from iconic Namco titles. The ad highlights Namco's legendary status, creator of games like Pac-Man, Rally X, Dig Dug, Mappy, Xevious, and the later Ridge Racer. It promises a rich look into Namco's history and their approach to game creation, based on research and interviews originally featured in the Emming magazine. The included CD contains game sounds from 8 classic titles, including some never before released. Visuals include screenshots of Pac-Man, Rallyx, and Xevious, along with the cover of the original Eng magazine from 1983. This is a must-have for fans wanting to deep dive into the roots of arcade and console gaming history. It's priced at 2,300 yen, tax included, from SoftBank's publishing division, and was scheduled for release in late November. This page features a prominent preview of the highly anticipated RPG, Lunar, Eternal Blue, for the Sega CD. The main artwork showcases the protagonists Hyro and Lucia, along with other key characters, against a vibrant cosmic backdrop. The article highlights the game's impending release and promises a deep dive into its mechanics, specifically focusing on the command system. After roughly a year since the initial report, Lunar, Eternal Blue is finally nearing its release date, scheduled for December 22nd at 9,800 yen on the Sega CD. Described as potentially the largest title for the platform, the game boasts a 2-year development cycle and a talented staff, fully utilizing the CRED's capacity for a rich experience. The preview aims to provide a thorough analysis of the game's command operations, Game system differences from the predecessor, Lunar, the Silver Star, and other crucial aspects that deeply impact gameplay, which the reviewer considers the most important part. Visuals include character portraits of Hyro, Lucia, Ronfar, Jean, Lemina, and Galeon, alongside a pixelated screenshot showing an in-game scene with a character inside a building. The page emphasizes the game's entertainment value and the refreshing impact it leaves after playing.
This page delves into the essential movement command menu in Lunar, Eternal Blue, accessed by pressing the A button while exploring the world. As any seasoned RPG player knows, keeping your party healthy and well-equipped is crucial, and this menu is your primary tool for doing so outside of battle. The menu offers 4 key options: magic, equipment, items, and status. The magic option allows you to use spells on individual characters or the entire party for recovery purposes. Importantly, attack magic is unavailable here. Using healing magic and curing status ailments frequently is highly recommended. The equipment section lets you change weapons and armor found during your journey or swap gear between party members, though character restrictions apply. It's wise to equip items that boost stats like attack or defense right away. The items command is for using consumable items for HP/MP recovery or dungeon escapes, or for giving items to other party members. Finally, status lets you check each character's parameters, showing their current stats and potential maximums based on their level and equipment. Mastering this menu is vital for a smooth journey through the game. This page focuses on the critical shop system in Lunar, Eternal Blue, an indispensable feature for any adventurer. As you progress, acquiring stronger weapons and armor is vital, and while dungeons yield some gear, the primary source is the shops found in every town. The page explains the process: selecting buy items or sell items, choosing the desired item or character, and viewing the purchase price or selling value, typically half the buy price. Screenshots illustrate the interface for buying items, equipping gear, and seeing the resulting stat changes, and selling unwanted goods. Additionally, the page features an insightful interview with a developer from GameArts about the system upgrades in Lunar, Eternal Blue, compared to the first Lunar game. Key improvements discussed include individual character inventories, a revamped and clearer magic system, weapon-dependent tech skills, magic that levels up, clearer numerical feedback in shops and on equipment changes, the inclusion of an action memory system for quicker command input, flexible party formation, and strategic battle elements like enemy waiting patterns and numerous special attacks. The developer advises that while the AI is capable for standard battles, taking manual control is recommended for tough boss encounters. This page explains the shop system in Lunar, Eternal Blue, and features a developer interview on system changes. This page delves into the battle commands available in Lunar, Eternal Blue. When you encounter enemies during exploration, the game transitions into battle mode. Here, you are presented with several command options: I, Command, Strategy, and Run Away. AI allows the computer to take control, making decisions based on the number and strength of enemies, as well as the status and personality of your party members. This version boasts significant improvements over the previous game. The command option provides manual control, letting you select actions like attack, item, magic, or defense for each character. This is presented as the basic battle mode and is recommended for challenging encounters, especially against bosses. The strategy command, detailed further on page 70, allows you to register preset battle plans. This is useful when you understand the best way to defeat specific enemy types. Finally, Run Away lets you attempt to escape from battle. The page includes various screenshots demonstrating the different command menus and their associated interfaces, showing character stats and enemy numbers. The content suggests that while AI is suitable for easier fights, manual control via the command option is crucial for strategic depth in tougher battles. This page details the various status changes that can occur during battle in Lunar, Eternal Blue. It illustrates different effects like sleep, confusion, magic sealed, poison, paralysis, petrified, and near death, with accompanying icons and brief descriptions of how they impact characters. The page also showcases several battle screenshots, demonstrating the visual interface for using items such as the Antidote Herb and Flame Saber, and executing techniques like Flame Shot and Soaring Sword. A section compares Lunar, Eternal Blue system to its predecessor, Lunar, the Silver Star, noting significant improvements. The battle commands are more layered, making them easier to navigate. Magic and items are now represented by icons, and enemy names and numbers are displayed, which was not the case in the first game without using a specific command. The battle AI has also been substantially enhanced. Finally,
The page touches upon the game's development and a special bonus for early buyers. A mini CD featuring a conversation between characters Lucia and Lemina, voiced by Megumi Hayashibara and Satomi Koriyama. This bonus also includes unreleased game music, highlighting the effort put into the game's production despite development taking longer than expected. A photo of the two voice actresses is included, suggesting this bonus is a treat for fans. Lunar Eternal Blue features the pink flying cat Ruby, who plays a crucial role beyond being a mascot. She handles various game functions, including item management, carrying up to 72 items, magic progression, characters gain and level up magic abilities, strategy setup, pre-battle tactics and formations, and system functions, saving and loading. Ruby's operational screen, accessed by pressing the A button, provides access to these menus, including 3 save slots. The game highlights Ruby's significance in managing the party and progressing through the game. This page features a Lunar Eternal Blue Special 5 Express section, complete with an illustration and commentary on the hectic development amidst Japan's typhoon season, highlighting the intense state at Game Arts. The main content focuses on Lunar Eternal Blue Setting Collection Volume 8, presenting various concept art sketches. These include ideas for a cave interior suitable for exploration with Ruby, a village scene, a suspension bridge design, a revised spooky house layout with an eerie feel, a watery dungeon featuring monsters like a mermaid, and a cave entrance behind a waterfall. The text accompanying these sketches reveals the demanding workload on the developers during this period. The Lunar 2 production diary covers the period from May to September 1994. Developer Mr. Juba recounts the stressful development, mentioning staff exhaustion and his own hospitalization for acute cholecystitis, which prompted a focus on health. He also shares an anecdote about a colleague disappearing for days while playing Earthbound. Composer Noriyuki Iwadare discusses his music recording process, noting that many songs were completed in a single take. He mentions collaborating with Tomohiro Yokoyama for mini-drama recordings and highlights an upcoming musical performance. Finally, the reader mail section includes comments from fans eager to see a demo of Lunar 2 and expressing anticipation for the game's promised voice acting and animation features, to which the developers respond positively about meeting expectations. This Lunar Eternal Blue website page features Hajime Sato's dragon concept art, a queue and a session with Ruby about null and sub-scenarios, a developer column by M. Shimada on game improvements, reader illustrations, a character popularity poll update, an estimated playtime of 50 hours, and a farewell announcement for the corner, concluding with the game's release next month. This page announces Sega's next-generation machine, the Sega Saturn, available for limited pre-order until November 15th at a special price, featuring visuals reminiscent of Virtua Fighter. It also highlights special discounted bundles for the Mega Drive and Mega CD hardware, including a choice of popular games like action, puzzle, and adventure titles. The Super 32X, an upgrade booster for the Mega Drive, is also featured with a limited pre-order deal until November 26th, showing a screenshot from a racing game, likely Virtua Racing. Individual game releases are showcased, including the fun puzzle game Puyo Puyo 2, and the fighting classic Samurai Spirits, Samurai Showdown for Mega Drive, the RPG sequel after Armageddon Gaiden, Megami Tensei After War, for Mega CD, and the beginner-friendly RPG Madu Monogatari 2i, Sorcery Saga 2i, for Game Gear, with brief notes on their appeal. The page concludes with information about convenient services like Yamato Delivery and reservations for these systems, as well as PS, 3Do, and NCD, offered by the featured shop, Bullseye. This page features an interview and information about the Sound the Hedgehog remix album, based on the music from Sonic CD. The album aims to reconstruct and reimagine the game's background music with new approaches, incorporating techno and funky styles. The interview discusses the concept, targeting a wider audience including female fans, and mentions how the lyrical song Love You Sonic depicts Amy Rose's affection for Sonic, who is portrayed as indifferent. The album includes remixes that subtly weave in musical phrases from the original Sonic CD BGM, offering a rewarding listen for players familiar with the game. 2 new songs are included, alongside remixes of tracks like Dr. Giggly Men, likely referencing Drive, Robotnik, and Miracle Blue Little Planet, related to Sonic CD's setting. Released by Alpha Music on December 7th for 2,500 yen, The page emphasizes the innovative reconstruction of the beloved game soundtrack. A small cartoon commentary highlights a philosophy against making unconvincing music.
This page features Ancient Park Volume 2, a recurring segment by the developers Ancient. The main focus is a making-of piece for Beyond Oasis, known as Story of Thor in Japan, detailing the protagonist's design process and evolution from an initial concept as a simple bystander to a prince. The article also touches upon other development anecdotes. Additionally, Ancient sends a thank you message to fans who purchased the soundtrack CD for Streets of Rage 3, Bare Knuckle 2Y, reflecting on their creative journey and challenges. A small comic strip shows characters from Beyond Oasis encountering various edible items. The section also includes a welcome message from the guide J, and a call for reader postcards containing questions and illustrations, mentioning the upcoming release of Beyond Oasis. This page features the eccentric Game Paradise Baka King column, kicking off with a look at the Game Gear version of James Bond 2, a port of the Genesis game, noting its distinct packaging. Next up is a segment celebrating the Japan Sonic and Knuckles champion, London Kobayashi, who placed 4th globally. They're even giving away the actual headband he wore. There's also a brief mention of weird overseas novelty items like battery-powered spin pop candies and bizarre fireworks packaging. Professor Ambiso's column offers pro tips for panorama cotton, focusing on cotton collection and predictive shooting tactics. An interesting section predicts the fortune of the upcoming Sega Saturn, noting its November 22nd release date and a unique planetary alignment, suggesting its nature will focus on performance and user communication. Finally, selected editor's notes cover various topics, including the appeal of Joyopolis for Sonic fans, thoughts on Sega Saturn's marketing, and a humorous look at the magazine staff, complete with this month's Baka King pose, featuring one staff member's legs. This page features Compile's internal newsletter, No Koni Times Volume 19, dated November 8, 1994. The main highlight is the upcoming release of Puyo Puyo 2 on the Mega Drive and Game Gear. The article notes that while based on the arcade version, both console ports feature unique additions, like a 4-player mode on the Mega Drive and communication support on the Game Gear. They also mention the ability to customize game rules. The Mega Drive version is set for release on December 2nd, and the Game Gear version on December 9th. There's also a mention of a special Puyomin steamed bun confectionery from Hiroshima being released. Other sections include a monthly survey asking for impressions on Puyo Puyo 2, and an announcement of point rankings for reader submissions, highlighting contributors like and. This page features a column by Jam Ojizan discussing crucial aspects of the gaming industry just before the launch of the next-generation consoles, the Sega Saturn and PlayStation. The author delves into the significant financial burdens faced by game developers, particularly the high costs associated with manufacturing commission fees paid to console makers and substantial advertising budgets. He highlights examples like Sega's massive 5 billion yen advertising spend for the Saturn and Square's 700 million yen budget for Chrono Trigger, emphasizing that game development and release require immense capital, making it challenging for smaller soft houses to compete with larger soft makers. The column also touches upon the differing public and media perceptions of the Saturn and PlayStation. Jam Ojisan notes that, while the media initially portrayed Saturn as being for hardcore fans and PlayStation for the general public, the success of Virtua Fighter seems to have boosted the Saturn's broader appeal. He suggests Sega's earlier, wider advertising strategy, contrasted with Sony's initial focus on game-specific media, contributed to this. Looking ahead to the console war's next phase, the author sees Sega's ability to attract third-party developers, including capable smaller studios, as key. Finally, there's a call for readers to submit questions about games and the industry, with the promise of a gift and a direct answer from Jam Ojisan for selected submissions. This page delves into the technical aspects of game audio sources, specifically focusing on the Sega Saturn. It explains that CD-ROM-based hardware like the Saturn can produce sound in two main ways, either by playing audio directly from the CD/CDDA, or by using the internal sound source. The column discusses PCM, pulse code modulation, and FM, frequency modulation, synthesis. PCM is described as storing waveform data directly in memory, similar to CD audio, offering high quality but requiring significant data storage. FM synthesis, on the other hand, creates sound by manipulating basic waveforms and adding harmonics, overtones,
which uses less data, but can sometimes lack the richness of recorded sound. The author notes that while CDDA offers superior sound quality, it has limitations for games, such as access time delays, and the fixed capacity of the CD, especially when also storing game data. Internal sound sources provide flexibility for real-time effects and dynamic music changes. The Sega Saturn is highlighted as having both PCM and FM capabilities, along with effects, allowing for versatile audio design. The conclusion is that combining the high quality of CDDA for key audio segments and the flexibility of internal sources for other sound elements is the optimal approach to elevate the overall audio quality in games. The page also includes simple diagrams illustrating waveform data and a small cartoon character in the corner.
This page features the second part of an article titled, "So Many Insecurities in Multimedia," written by A.G.I. Nihyaku. The author expresses skepticism towards the prevalent definition and marketing of multimedia products. The piece criticizes companies that market devices as multimedia without true integration, using examples like a PC that can display TV but doesn't allow digital capture or interaction between the TV and computer functions. This is compared unfavorably to older systems that had better TV/% integration. The author also takes aim at technology reporting, highlighting inaccuracies in articles about multimedia capabilities, such as a review of a Macintosh LC630 wrongly stating video could be displayed on Windows. A cynical view is presented regarding the superficiality of media coverage surrounding multimedia hype. Images on the page include a Sega Saturn console and an illustration of a computer setup with a monitor and keyboard, perhaps symbolizing the concept of multimedia.
Page 80. This page presents a new software release schedule, covering upcoming games for the Sega Mega Drive, Mega CD, Super 32X, and Mega LD platforms. This page provides an update on the Sega Saturn launch and upcoming software releases. It features a comprehensive schedule listing many titles planned for release from November through 1995, including titles like Virtua Fighter, Myst, Daytona USA, and SimCity 2000, showing a wide variety of genres like action, simulation, racing, and RPGs, although many specifics like prices and exact dates are still undecided. Below the schedule, the article discusses the current development status, highlighting the positive reception of Virtua Fighter and mentioning changes to the release list, such as the removal of Doom 2 and a developer named Bell. It notes that other third-party developers are becoming more active and expresses anticipation for upcoming titles like Virtua Hydlide and others expected soon. The overall tone is one of excitement and expectation for the strength of the Sega Saturn lineup. A new Sega Game Gear software schedule is outlined, featuring releases from November 1994 to early 1995, including Sonic Chaos, Fatal Fury Special, and more. The upcoming B-Mega magazine promises a massive Sega Saturn special issue, packed with third-party title information, a major release from a large company, and AM2's direct input, including an AM2 command list appendix. Developer interviews highlight the Saturn launch excitement, with specific release dates like Lunar, Eternal Blue, December 22nd, and various titles from companies like Konami, Virgin, Takara, Acclaim, Bandai, EAV, Ubisoft, Athena, Messiah, and Sunsoft. The focus is on the transition to a new gaming era and the potential of the Saturn's capabilities.
This page details how readers should fill out the magazine's questionnaire postcard. It instructs on providing personal information and using a marked sheet to answer questions about demographics like gender, age, and occupation. It also asks about the number of Mega Drive and Mega CD games owned, the gaming magazines the reader follows, and feedback on articles from the current issue, referencing a detailed list of content provided. The survey further asks readers to choose up to 3 desired games from extensive lists of both Mega Drive/Mega CD and upcoming Sega Saturn titles, reflecting the transition in the market. At the bottom, the page lists the winners of a reader giveaway from the previous month, awarding prizes like software and merchandise. This page features the Sega Saturn console itself, highlighting its imminent launch. The main headlines proclaim, "Right before launch Sega Saturn, Special Feature 1," and vertically displays Final Countdown. The text announces the official release date of November 22nd and confirms the final price for the console at 44,800 yen. It notes this was adjusted from an initially announced price of 49,800 yen,
mentioning a campaign that made the lower price permanent. For comparison, it also states the Sony PlayStation's price is 39,800 yen. The page details the launch software lineup, confirming 5 titles will be available on day 1, including fan favorites like Virtua Fighter and Myst, alongside Wanchai Connection, Tama, and Mahjong Goku Tenjiku. Looking ahead, the article mentions that around 6 more titles are slated for release by the end of the year, with notable mentions being Clockwork Knight, The Mansion of Hidden Souls, Gale Racer, and Race Drivin'. The page also confirms that key peripherals like the mouse, backup cartridge, and arcade stick will launch alongside the console. The tone is clearly one of anticipation, emphasizing that the final countdown has truly begun for Sega's next-generation system. A Sega Saturn port of Virtua Fighter is nearing release, achieving a 120% porting degree, according to AM2 director Suzuki. The port, reviewed by the editorial department, faithfully recreates the arcade game's moves and feels, despite a slight polygon reduction. Improvements include playable character changes during continues, and an option to customize stamina, sets, and time limits for matches. Button configuration allows for arcade stick compatibility, and an autosave function is included. Minor BGM adjustments exist, but overall loading times are brief, especially during character changes. The port promises extra content beyond mere replication, exceeding a 100% level of fidelity. This page delves deeper into the Sega Saturn port of Virtua Fighter, focusing on the exciting rank recognition mode. This mode evaluates your skill level, assigning you a rank from 6th Q all the way up to 8th Dan. To unlock it, you must first defeat Dural in arcade mode. The mode itself is a gauntlet, where you face opponents, and your performance in terms of stage clear speed, technique usage, and overall fighting prowess determines your final rank. Interestingly, this feature is also planned for the arcade version of Virtua Fighter 2. The page shows examples of the ranking certificate and evaluation criteria, emphasizing that simply winning isn't enough. How you win and utilize your skills matters. Beyond the rank mode, there's a section offering fundamental fighting game knowledge. It covers essential concepts like throw range, explaining the distance within which you can successfully execute throws, and noting that standing opponents can be thrown even while guarding. Guarding is broken down into standing and crouching guards, detailing what attacks each defends against, and stressing the importance of switching between them based on the opponent's moves. Finally, the importance of getting up strategically is highlighted, mentioning different recovery options, and emphasizing that reading your opponent's actions as you recover is crucial for success. Screenshots feature various characters, like Akira, Dural, Sarah, Wolf, Pei, Cage, and Jackie, demonstrating these techniques and game modes. This page really gives players insight into improving their game and measuring their progress. Akira Yuki, a Virtua Fighter character known for Hakioku-ken, is complex but powerful, best for intermediate to advanced players. Key techniques include the close-range Tetsuzanku, Iron Mountain, and the fast Josho Choshu, Rising Elbow Strike. The powerful finisher Sosho Senrin, Twin Palm Strike, requires precise input. A beginner combo uses a mid-kick, followed by Tetsuzanku. Akira's moveset includes punches, kicks, throws, and ground attacks, and visual demonstrations aid understanding. Differences between arcade and Saturn versions and alternate colors are briefly mentioned.
Mastering Akira demands practice for precise inputs and spacing.
This page features Pai Chan, the youngest fighter in Virtua Fighter and a practitioner of Insaiken, Swallow Fist. She's described as being easy for beginners to pick up due to her light body and speed, but also having weaknesses like being easily knocked down. Her strength lies in her quick execution and diverse moveset, particularly her throws. Key techniques highlighted include the Tenchi Tora, Heaven Earth Drop, a powerful throw that can ring out opponents, and the Senpu Senjin, Whirlwind Retreat, a throw where she falls with the opponent, but be careful near the ring edge. The Senpu Hai Ryu, Whirlwind Willow, is a finisher against downed opponents. A recommended combo for beginners involves a series of punches leading into a Hei Tentai, spinning kick, which is effective even when guarded. Other notable moves listed include Senpu Ga, Whirlwind Fang, Ensign Ryu, Swallow Retreat, Rain Shuta, Thunderclap Palm Strike, and Renkintai, Rapid Fist Leg. Pai is noted for having fewer mid-level attacks,
Making strategies against crouching opponents important.
The page includes visuals demonstrating some of her moves, and her character model, with different color options. This page is dedicated to Lao Chan from Virtua Fighter. He is introduced as a Chinese chef and master of Tiger Swallowfist, as well as Pei's father. His fighting style is described as unstoppable once he starts his assault, making him a difficult opponent to handle. The page rates his usability for beginners to advanced players, and notes his techniques are strong. Key moves highlighted include the upward slanted palm, effective for breaking upper guards, and the chain back turning kick, a powerful finishing move. Leju's strength also lies in his rushdown combos and counters that can launch opponents for follow-up attacks. A recommended powerful combo involves a down attack into a turning body 8 roar palm, which can lead to a knockout. The page includes views of Lakiao's character model in different colors and screenshots demonstrating his moves in action, reinforcing his aggressive, rushdown playstyle. Facing Labao is noted as being particularly troublesome due to his relentless offense and ability to punish opponents. This page dives into the powerful pro wrestler, Wolf Hawkfield, in Virtua Fighter. The guide rates him suitable for players from beginners to advanced levels, highlighting his strong techniques, despite having fewer moves overall. Wolf is a grappler, and the key to victory with him is mastering throw timing. Once he gets a hold of you, escaping is nearly impossible. The page details his signature throws, like the Brainbuster and Giant Swing, noting his incredible arm strength. It also emphasizes the importance of movement, using techniques like quick forward to close distance for throws and step back to create space, especially crucial for advanced players. Key moves featured include the Sonic Uppercut, a reliable mid-attack that works well against crouching opponents, and the Axle Lariat, a strong move that can knock down standing opponents but changes position if the opponent crouches. The Giant Swing is highlighted as a powerful throw, capable of tossing opponents out of the ring, and a punch into Giant Swing combo is recommended for skilled players. Recommended advanced techniques include linking the vertical uppercut, which stands up crouching opponents, into the devastating Splash Mountain. Other important moves covered are the Knee Blast as a counter setup, the Body Slam for targeting downed opponents, and the double arm suplex specifically for punishing crouching opponents. Ultimately, Wolf is a character who dominates at close range by landing his powerful throws. The next page covers the powerful grappler Jeffrey McWild in Virtua Fighter. The guide rates him as suitable for intermediate to advanced players, highlighting his strength and large number of techniques, particularly throws. Jeffrey, described as developing his style from pankuration, is a character who excels at getting in close to land his numerous grabs. While his speed is slow, his ability to punish opponents who crouch with devastating throws is a major advantage. Key techniques featured include the Power Slam and Iron Claw, both highly effective throws specifically designed to catch crouching opponents for significant damage. The Machine Gun Lift is another unique throw against crouching opponents, notable for its visual flair and psychological impact despite lower damage. A recommended technique is the Toe Kick, followed by the powerful Splash Mountain, which can pull opponents in from a distance. The page also lists other important moves, like various uppercuts and hammer strikes, emphasizing his diverse close-range offense beyond just throws. Jeffrey's mastery lies in mixing his striking and throwing game, making him a formidable opponent once in range. This page delves into the agile ninja, Kagemaru, from Virtua Fighter. Rated for intermediate to advanced players, Kagegage excels at using his speed and evasiveness, incorporating ninjutsu and clever throws into his fighting style. Mastering distance and utilizing quick steps is crucial for playing as him effectively. Key techniques highlighted include the versatile elbow strike for basic offense, and the powerful arc drop, a high-damage air throw to punish airborne opponents. The spinning ground slide kick is noted as a useful feint or evasive maneuver. A recommended combo involves the spin kick, which floats the opponent, followed by the shadow flow kick for reliable damage, and a basic strategy for beginners. Other notable moves cover various high-damage kicks like the water wheel kick, the evasive falling leaf whirlwind shot, and the guard-breaking thunder dragon flying kick. Cage also possesses strong throws like sword mist that avoid low attacks. His strength lies in his diverse options for controlling space and punishing opponents who misstep, making him a tricky and rewarding character for skilled players. This page focuses on Sarah Bryant from Virtua Fighter, presenting her as a strong, accessible character suitable for players from beginners to advanced levels, contrasting slightly with the more technical Kagemaru from the previous page. Sarah's fighting style, derived from Jeet Kune Do,
emphasizes graceful and diverse leg techniques. The narrative background mentions her tragic history, being brainwashed after investigating her brother Jackie's accident. Key techniques highlighted include the punch side kick and toe kick side as fundamental tools. The dash upper is noted as a useful move for punishing opponents caught off guard, while the somersault kick is presented as a stylish finishing move. The page recommends versatile combos featuring the double strike, double joint butt, for reliable damage, and the mirage kick, knee, which can be used for ring-outs. A list of other notable moves covers essential techniques, like the rising elbow, punch high kick, and throws like the neckbreaker drop. Sarah's strength lies in her solid mid-range offense and effective long-reaching low attacks, making her a well-rounded and potentially very powerful fighter depending on the player's skill.
This page features Jackie Bryant from Virtua Fighter, the brother of Sarah Bryant who was highlighted on the previous page. Like his sister, Jackie is presented as a character suitable for players of all skill levels, from beginners to advanced. He is described as a race car driver who enters the tournament to save his brainwashed sister. Jackie's fighting style is rooted in Kung Fu, emphasizing a versatile approach that mixes high, middle, and low attacks effectively. He is also noted for his feint techniques and powerful long-reach moves. Key techniques detailed include the spinning low spin kick for deceptive high-to-low transitions, the combo elbow spin kick which provides speed and pushback for safety, and the dash hammer kick, a fast, long-range finisher. The page suggests recommended combos often start with basic attacks and transition into moves like the rising elbow or throws like the neckbreaker drop, aiming to catch guarding opponents off guard. A list of other essential moves is provided, covering various offensive techniques with inputs and damage values, demonstrating Jackie's deep arsenal. The reviewer highlights Jackie's strength lies in his balanced offense and the potential for players to become very powerful depending on their skill. This page provides a breakdown of Jackie Bryant's versatile fighting style and key moves in Virtua Fighter, suitable for all skill levels.
This page focuses on Dural, the final boss in Virtua Fighter, and provides an update on the Sega Saturn version of Daytona USA. Dural is presented as a metallic humanoid fighter, the creation of a secret organization. She is the ultimate challenge, possessing incredible speed and destructive power, making her the strongest opponent in the game. Dural appears as a bonus opponent only after the player has defeated all other characters. Her fighting style is unique, incorporating moves from all the regular fighters. The page highlights some of Dural's signature moves, such as Brainbuster from Wolf, Body Slam from Jeffrey, Spinning Kick from Sarah's Jackie, Axe Lariat from Wolf, Lightning Flame Heel Kick from Cage, Iron Mountain from Akira, and Heaven Earth Drop from Pi. Mastering the timing to avoid or counter her diverse and powerful techniques is crucial. The other main feature is a status report on Daytona USA for the Sega Saturn. As of the reporting period, mid-October, the game was listed as 20% complete, with Sega Saturn Virtua Fighter's final checks taking priority. While significant visual changes weren't yet apparent, car control was already functional, and the internal systems were progressing steadily. Screenshots show the rolling start on the beginner course and early versions of the course selection and name entry screens. The reviewer notes anticipation for the game's release early next year, mentioning that the full courses and car types will eventually match the arcade version. This page features a special interview celebrating the completion of the Sega Saturn version of Virtua Fighter, along with commentary from testers and staff. The main interview is with development chief Anzai Tsukasa, who reflects on the demanding final month of development focused on polishing details. He discusses the challenge of implementing features like character shadows and optimizing CD access speed. Anzai also touches on the Dural character, confirming she ultimately didn't make it into the final game, although she sometimes appears in Versus mode. He also briefly mentions the upcoming Daytona USA port. Commentary sections praise the port's overall quality, despite some minor slowdown compared to the arcade. They highlight the inclusion of all moves, the challenging CPU opponents in rank mode, and the value for home practice. A note at the bottom announces more details will be in the inaugural issue of Sega Saturn magazine on November 21st. This page dives into Clockwork Knight, Pepperushow's Great Adventure Volume 1, an exciting early action game for the Sega Saturn, shown here at 80% completion ahead of its December 9th release at a competitive price of 4,800 yen. It's presented as a next-generation action title focusing on accessible gameplay alongside its impressive visuals, with the main goal being the rescue of Chelsea. The page introduces some of Pepperushow's fundamental techniques crucial for success.
You can stun certain enemies with a hit and then pick them up and throw them. Pushing objects like books or batteries is also key to progression. These batteries can be used to activate switches, which can trigger various mechanisms in the environment, such as cranes. Finding hidden areas is also highlighted, often accessible by interacting with objects, and these areas are full of valuable items, including one-ups. The game's opening demo is also praised, featuring music with vocals by Chelsea herself, which is a great showcase piece. It looks like Sega is putting a lot of effort into making this a fun and visually impressive experience right out of the gate for the Saturn. This page delves further into Clockwork Knight, Pepperuchow's Great Adventure Volume 1, showcasing the game's first two bosses and stage mechanics. The Stage 1 boss is a remarkable transforming robot, smoothly switching between plane and robot forms. A visual treat the reviewer found captivating. The boss's weak point is identified as its chest while in robot mode. It employs various attacks, including a boomerang projectile, and the ability to pick up and throw smaller enemies called chibi mecha. Progression through the stages is highlighted, emphasizing interactive elements like pushable blocks and hidden areas containing valuable items. A particularly interesting section involves riding a train, where the path taken influences gameplay. Switches are key to activating mechanisms such as cranes. The Stage 2 boss is introduced as a heavy, metallic robot with immense weight and power. Its actions, including spins and powerful punches, are so impactful they cause the screen to shake, adding to the sense of scale and force in the action. The reviewer is clearly impressed by the action overflowing with a sense of weight presented by this boss. This page features Tama, a game that the reviewer confidently declares a hit despite its seemingly simple concept. Set for a November 22nd release by Time Warner Interactive, it's described as an action game where the core mechanic involves tilting the ground to roll a ball, the titular Tama, to a goal. Despite using polygons and CG, the game focuses on pure playability that encourages repeated attempts, contrasting with perhaps more superficial next-gen titles. The reviewer expresses pleasant surprise at such a high-quality title launching alongside the Sega Saturn, something they felt wasn't possible during the Mega Drive era. The game utilizes three basic operations: tilting the ground, zooming in and out, and rotating the view, all used to guide the ball. The page highlights different environments, like the serene green garden, where you can name your Tama, and the treacherous frozen cave, emphasizing the need to study the map and traps. A fun bonus stage is also mentioned, unlocked by leading a wandering cow to the goal, where collecting items boosts your score in a nostalgic surprise. The use of polygons to realize this simple yet deep gameplay concept is praised as a sign of a good development attitude. This page reveals Gale Racer, a game described as the significantly enhanced return of the arcade classic, Rad Mobile. Currently 44% complete, it's slated for a December 2nd release by Sega and supports two-player competitive play. The article highlights the major improvements over the arcade version, noting the extensive use of polygons and texture mapping for the graphics, including newly rendered cockpit views and distant backgrounds. Even the rival cars are entirely polygon-based, with much improved AI. The iconic Sonic the Hedgehog makes an appearance as a mascot in the rearview mirror. The control feel is praised, with a recommendation for using the analog controller. The game features an American crossing Saturn rally, taking players through famous locations like the dazzling lights of Las Vegas. Gameplay elements shown include navigating intersections, tackling familiar banked turns, and even driving on train tracks. Detailed effects like working headlights and wipers are also shown, adding to the realism. Furthermore, new game modes have been added for the console release, including a two-player split-screen versus mode with dedicated courses, and a one-player time attack mode that allows players to save their records. The winner of the rally earns the title of Gale Racer, competing in a no-rules race to New York. The next page continues the look at upcoming Sega Saturn titles. First up is Panzer Dragoon, a 3D shooting game with a unique floating sensation that impressed attendees at a recent show despite being an unfamiliar title. Currently 30% complete and aiming for a March release, the game is said to feature a deep worldview with a mix of biological and mechanical enemies, promising something fresh beyond Sega's previous 3D shooters like Space Harrier or Galaxy Force. Screenshots show desolate landscapes and encounters with bizarre flying creatures. The page also previews Van Battle, a 2D action fighting game featuring peculiar monsters and humans locked in intense combat. This title, 20% complete, boasts powerful visuals and simple controls, including a two-player versus mode. The characters are described as using photorealistic movement capture, making their bizarre actions all the more striking. Screenshots highlight the game's grotesque fighters and dynamic battle scenes. This page features the Sega Saturn game Mahjong Goku Tenjiku, highlighting it as a crucial title, particularly pitched as the ideal gift to convince a mahjong-loving father to buy a Saturn console. The game is presented as the definitive version of the popular PC Mahjong Goku series. Screenshots show the game's board view, the mahjong interface, and portraits of various characters from Journey to the West who serve as your opponents, including figures like Hyakume Daio, Chiyu Fujin, Raikon Daio, Gyumao, Rasetsujo, and Kugaizi, alongside the main player characters like Goku, Shagojo, Jubaji, and Sanzu. The review notes that while the core graphics might initially seem similar to previous console mahjong games, the Saturn version boasts significantly enhanced processing speed and improved opponent AI, leading to more realistic and engaging matches. A standout feature is the dynamic voice acting, where character reactions change based on the score, adding a unique layer of personality. The game is recommended for both mahjong beginners and enthusiasts, promising a polished experience. This page reviews Mahjong Goku Tenjiku, suggesting it's the perfect game to convince a mahjong-playing parent to purchase a Sega Saturn. This page kicks off the Sega Saturn Final Countdown, featuring two exciting upcoming adventure titles. First up is Shinsetsu Yume Mikan, a sequel to the Mega CD virtual cinema hit. Unlike the first game, which focused on escaping, this entry is set entirely within the mysterious mansion, tasking players as a young protagonist to save it and reach the creator's sanctuary. The game boasts significantly upgraded CG visuals with varied camera work and enhanced realism. A key innovation is the tentative emotion input system, where player responses in conversations influence the protagonist's personality, impacting the story's branching paths and endings. Intriguingly, the protagonist from the original game, an old man trapped in the mansion, makes a return appearance. Also featured is the highly anticipated Sega Saturn port of Myst, the landmark interactive movie adventure from PC. This game places players on the enigmatic island of Myst, challenging them to explore various ages and environments to rescue two individuals trapped in books by collecting red and blue pages. Departing from traditional command-based adventures, Myst features intuitive point-and-click gameplay, which the Saturn version supports, with optional mouse control for a smooth experience. Praised for its mysterious atmosphere, photorealistic 3D visuals, and multiple explorable ages, the Saturn port makes this demanding PC title accessible, allowing more players to immerse themselves in its fantastical world. Both games are previewed just before their release, highlighting the growing library for the Sega Saturn. This page continues the Sega Saturn Final Countdown, diving into two more intriguing upcoming titles. First up is Wanchai Connection, a hard-boiled mystery adventure game set in Hong Kong that's 80% complete. What's really cool about this one is the heavy use of live-action video, which they actually shot on location in Hong Kong. Written by famous drama scriptwriter James Migaki, the game shifts between dramatic visual scenes and detailed investigation screens, pushing the story forward as you uncover the truth. Also featured is Steam Gear Mash, Takara's debut title on the Sega Saturn, currently only 10% finished. This game is being billed as a unique multi-genre game, mixing action shooting with RPG, puzzle, and even treasure hunting elements. You play as Mash, a fantastic clockwork life form created by a genius professor who looks incredibly expressive and versatile. The developers mentioned they're pushing the Saturn's capabilities to create something different and exciting for players. This page focuses on the highly anticipated arcade release of Virtua Fighter 2. Sega AM2 presents the latest details, highlighting key changes and improvements over the original game. It dives into the evolution of the combat system, noting that while many basic move commands remain familiar, a significant number of new techniques have been added. There are also adjustments to existing moves for better balance, particularly affecting airborne attacks. The article also showcases the striking new costumes for returning characters when they are the Player 2 character, featuring updated looks for fighters like Jackie, Sarah, and Cage. Furthermore, it touches upon the introduction of advanced gameplay mechanics, hinting at the presence of counter and reversal moves that allow players to deflect throws and narrowly evade attacks, promising a more realistic and deeper fighting experience. This first installment of information includes details on character profiles and moves to help players prepare for the game's imminent arrival in arcades. This page delves further into the world of Virtua Fighter 2, introducing two brand new combatants. We meet Shun Dai, an 82-year-old master of drunken fists from China, known for his unpredictable style and ability to break an opponent's tempo. His profile and 8 key techniques are detailed, showing the commands for his unique evasions and attacks. The page also features Lion Rafale, a young 15-year-old French fighter who employs the swift and long-reaching praying mantis style. His profile highlights his speed, and his 8 signature moves are presented with their command inputs. The article explains these characters bring new strategies and special commands to the game, while returning fighters also gain new techniques, all in anticipation of the Second World Fighting Tournament to decide the ultimate champion. A guide to interpreting the move commands is provided at the bottom. This page continues the deep dive into Virtua Fighter 2, focusing on 3 returning characters: Akira Yuki, Pai-chan, and Lao-chan. We get updated profiles and a look at some of their new or highlighted techniques in this sequel. Akira Yuki, the master of Hakyoku Ken, is the protagonist, and this entry introduces the concept of return techniques, significantly altering his fighting style. The article highlights several of his moves, including his signature attack, with screenshots illustrating the inputs and execution. It also mentions his past in the first tournament, and his dedication to training for the second. Pai-chan, practicing in Saiken, returns from Hong Kong. Her profile notes that her repertoire of mid-level attacks was a weakness in the first game, but Virtua Fighter 2 addresses this, making her a more technical character. Her dash attacks are also strengthened. Key moves are shown with commands and screenshots, including her powerful kicks and parrying technique. Like Akira, her journey since the first tournament and preparation for the second are discussed. Finally, Lao Chan, Pai's father and a master of Koinkin from China, is also featured. Known as a famous chef and martial artist, he won the first tournament, but was dissatisfied with the result and continues his rigorous training. The page presents several of his techniques, focusing on powerful strikes and versatile kicks, complete with command inputs and illustrative screenshots. The commentary mentions his continued pursuit of ultimate skill for the upcoming tournament. The next page continues the deep dive into the fighting techniques featured in Virtua Fighter 2, presenting 3 more returning characters and highlighting their updated movesets. First up is Wolf Hawkfield, the Canadian professional wrestler. Known in the first game for his powerful grappling and shoulder attacks, Virtua Fighter 2 sees his style evolve with an increased emphasis on jumping techniques. The page shows off moves like the body slam, lariat, shoulder attack, and various kicks and blows, demonstrating inputs and execution through screenshots. His profile confirms his wrestling background and details his age and origin. Following Wolf is Jeffrey McWild, the Pankuration fighter from Australia. The article notes a significant increase in his aggressive attacks and overall power in this sequel. His devastating throws and powerful strikes are showcased, including moves like the power slam, elbow upper, power bomb, hammer kick, head attack, hell stab, and various kicks. Jeffrey's profile lists his fighting style, nationality, and age, emphasizing his brute force approach to combat. Lastly, Kagemaru, the Japanese jujutsu practitioner, is featured. His unique style, often focused on achieving ringouts, gains new versatility in Virtua Fighter 2, with the addition of more mid- and long-range techniques. This expands his ability to disrupt opponents from a distance. The page illustrates several of his signature moves, such as the water wheel, falling leaf, shadow cutter, and various kick and striking techniques. The screenshots provide visual examples of these moves in action. The next page continues the deep dive into Virtua Fighter 2, focusing on the Bryant siblings, Sarah and Jackie, and their updated movesets. Sarah Bryant, the freestyle fighter, is featured first. Her profile confirms her background and includes her age and origin. The page highlights her elegant footwork and precise combinations, noting the addition of long-range special moves in this sequel, reducing her vulnerability. A table details some of her key moves like the double joint butt, illusion kick, combo rising knee, and tornado kick, accompanied by screenshots demonstrating their execution. Next is Jackie Bryant, also a freestyle fighter. His profile provides his details. The article describes his dynamic footwork and rich combinations used to manipulate opponents. The summary of his moves includes the spinning back knuckle, elbow spin kick, spinning arm kick, somersault kick, smash hook, and side hook kick, with inputs and screenshots shown. The text mentions that some of his dash moves from the previous game have been weakened, suggesting a shift towards mid-range combat focus. Additionally, there are 2 Omake check sections. The first discusses Li Fei, the drunken master character, confirming that, like in the Jackie Chan movie, drinking alcohol during the fight powers him up and visibly makes his face turn red. The second check points out the improved winning poses in Virtua Fighter 2, with multiple co-poses and a distinct win pose for each character, showcasing examples like Akira Yuki and Pai Chan. The next page features a special interview with Yu Suzuki from Sega's AM2 lab, focusing primarily on the impending Sega Saturn port of Virtua Fighter 2 and other future projects. Suzuki discusses the current state of Virtua Fighter 2, noting that the combat feels fundamentally different from the first game and requires players to adapt their strategies. He highlights the addition of the rank recognition mode, where players can earn ranks based on CPU matches, pushing them to master techniques. A major point of discussion is the possibility of a perfect port of Virtua Fighter 2 to the Sega Saturn. Suzuki addresses the competition, referencing the perceived graphical advantage of PlayStation's 3D processing, but confidently states that Sega Saturn can achieve comparable, if not better, results, demonstrating this with the Virtua Fighter Saturn port. He also touches upon other games seen at the AM show, including Namco's Tekken, offering his impressions. Suzuki mentions the significant processing power required for Virtua Fighter 2 characters, particularly for complex limb movements, noting that AM2 prioritizes calculation power for human-like motion. The page also previews upcoming AM2 arcade games, Virtua Cop, a 3D polygon shooting game, and Desert Tank, a realistic tank battle simulation, suggesting high potential for future ports to home consoles. Suzuki expresses hope for more high-quality games like these to be released and ported. Yu Suzuki, head of Sega's AM2 Research Lab, discusses the Sega Saturn port of Virtua Fighter, highlighting the Saturn's 3D capabilities. He confirms consideration of a Virtua Fighter 2 port and potential data sharing with third-party developers. Other arcade titles like Virtua Cop and Desert Tank are also under discussion for possible Saturn ports, though original development is limited by staff. September will see Virtua Fighter plush toys and t-shirts in UFO catchers, and the AM2 Research Express contest offers a chance to win a Virtua Fighter staff jacket. This page announces the crucial details for the Sega Super 32X in Japan, a release date of December 3, 1994, and a price of 16,800 yen plus tax. The article features an interview with Mr. Nagata from Sega, discussing the launch lineup and the strong software support expected. He highlights titles like Virtua Racing Deluxe, noting intriguing differences in the courses between the Japanese and overseas versions. Other anticipated games mentioned include an optimized port of Doom and the arcade classic Afterburner, along with the mech title Metalhead. The article conveys confidence in the 32X's future, with preparations already underway for the second and third waves of software releases well into early next year, suggesting a significant push to establish the new hardware with a rapid-fire release schedule. Technical specifications for the Super 32X are also listed. This page dives into two anticipated Sega 32X titles. Metalhead and Golf Magazine presents 36 Holes starring Fred Couples. Metalhead is spotlighted as a heavily anticipated mech combat game for the 32X. The article highlights its use of texture mapping and 3D polygons, aiming for fluid 20 frame per second motion, despite rendering around 10,000 polygons per second. The key point is the emphasis on solid 3D visuals and smooth animation, asking if players can survive? It features 6 stages to clear and includes 4 different viewpoint options beyond the standard cockpit view, like an overhead strategic view and a third-person perspective, adding depth to the gameplay. Weapons are plentiful, with 6 types mentioned, and the game includes a hard-boiled opening demo. Development is noted at 65% completion. The second game featured is Golf Magazine presents 36 Holes starring Fred Couples. The article reports that development is progressing well, sitting at 70% complete. It showcases the mode select and golfer edit screens, noting the use of digitized real golfers. A major draw is the golfer customization, allowing players to adjust various attributes and appearance details. The course visuals are described as beautiful polygon creations enhanced with texture mapping, and the animation of the digitized golfers is highlighted for its smoothness. The magazine notes the presence of the Golf Magazine logo on screen, suggesting their supervision. This is positioned as the first sports title for the 32X and hints at a potential Sega sports series. This page is all about the legendary arcade classic, Space Harrier, making its way to the Sega 32X. The big news is right there. It's a completion 100% port, bringing all 18 stages over perfectly, aiming to resurrect the original excitement. The article raves about how this isn't just any port, but a complete and faithful recreation of the system's 16 arcade experience, made possible by the 32X's power. It highlights the developer's dedication in perfectly replicating everything from the backgrounds and enemy patterns to the size of the bosses. They state that finding flaws is futile, underscoring the quality of the port. Key features mentioned include a unique options screen for the 32X version, where you can set difficulty across 4 levels and choose between 3 or 5 starting lives, plus control configuration. The classic continue system after stage 6 is also present. Screenshots showcase various stages and the game's iconic boss encounters, including Skyla, Shura, the bouncing mushrooms, referred to here as undefeatable Dom, Ida, Barbarian, and the final boss, Absymbol, appearing in full force just like in the arcade. The development team even adds that the 32X allows for a fully satisfying experience, especially on a wide TV, boosting the immersion. This looks like the arcade Space Harrier experience brought home. This page dives deep into Virtua Racing Deluxe for the Sega 32X, showcasing it as a significant evolution of the original Virtua Racing experience. The article highlights how the 32X's power has been fully utilized to deliver enhanced graphics and, notably, an expanded and exciting replay mode with new camera angles, including a high helicopter view that gives a great perspective of the entire course. A key upgrade is the addition of 2 new car types, bringing the total to 3: the familiar Formula car, a heavier stock car, and a super-fast prototype car, each with distinct handling characteristics. The core 5 game modes return, offering the standard Virtua Racing Race, Time Attack, 2-player versus, records, and options, providing plenty of ways to hit the track and challenge yourself or a friend. Screenshots display the improved visuals, the different car models, and various in-game perspectives and menus. The development team expresses confidence, stating that compared to the Genesis version, this feels less like a port and more like a significant leap, truly leveraging the 32X hardware. It's clear this isn't just the arcade game brought home, but an enhanced version built specifically for the 32X. The next page provides a comprehensive look at all 5 courses in Virtua Racing Deluxe, utilizing striking screenshots taken from the enhanced replay mode. This allows viewers to appreciate angles and details often missed during the heat of a race. The article covers the 3 original courses from the arcade version, alongside 2 brand new tracks added for the 32X release. The new courses introduced are Sand Park, the longest circuit in the game set in a desert environment, and High Land, a unique city circuit featuring both urban roads and a highway section, notable for its challenging shaped corners, and even a hidden Sega billboard in the international release. The page also revisits the original tracks. Big Forest, the beginner-friendly high-speed forest course with its iconic Ferris wheel, Bay Bridge, a tricky intermediate technical course known for its split path and interactive elements like a polygon cow, and Acropolis, the advanced coastal and mountain course where car damage is a factor, highlighting the utility of the pit stop and an updated 32X billboard. The focus is clearly on the enhanced visuals and expanded content made possible by the 32X hardware. This page dives into Star Wars Arcade for the Super 32X, a faithful port of the newer Model 1 arcade machine, not the older vector graphics version. As you can see from the screenshots, the polygon graphics do a fantastic job of bringing the Star Wars universe to life. You'll primarily pilot the X-Wing, taking on the Empire in various missions like destroying Star Destroyers or assaulting the Death Star. The game offers multiple viewpoints, a 2-player mode, and even a special Super 32X mode that adds extra content. The article details the ships you'll encounter: the versatile X-Wing, the tougher but slower U-Wing, playable in 2-player 32X mode, and the swarming TIE fighters, including bombers and interceptors. The game is praised for its exciting production values, letting you dive into iconic movie scenes. You'll have R2-D2 with you, encounter characters like Admiral Akbar urging you on, and relive moments like the Death Star trench run. It's a game that truly captures the feel of the arcade original, with added home features thanks to the 32X power. The review emphasizes the immersive feel and the requirement to play with focus to succeed against the Empire's forces. This page delves deeper into the Super 32X version of Star Wars Arcade, highlighting how it builds upon the arcade experience. The game offers both a faithful arcade mode and a brand new 32X original mode, providing distinct mission variations to double the fun. You'll take the controls in intense space battles, replicated with polygon graphics that bring iconic vessels like Star Destroyers and TIE Fighters to life. The screenshots showcase various perspectives, including the detailed cockpit view complete with a functional radar, shield indicators, and throttle status, essential for managing the fight. A major feature is the two-player mode, where one player pilots the X-Wing and the other takes control of the U-Wing's weapons, adding a cooperative element to tackling the Empire. The game captures the cinematic feel, even featuring impressive X-Wing launch sequences. The page makes it clear this 32X port delivers an enhanced and exciting Star Wars combat simulation. As Darth Vader himself ominously warns, "Don't underestimate the dark side." This page dives into Afterburner Complete for the Sega 32X, promising a 100% faithful port of the arcade classic. Screenshots throughout showcase the accuracy, from the distinctive title logo animation building from individual pixels to the detailed ranking screen. The article highlights the inclusion of elements often missed in home ports, like the base supply sequence, which excitingly features cameos from Hang-In and Outrun characters. The developers emphasize how the 32X's hardware enhances the experience, particularly praising the powerful sound output for capturing the roar of the jets, ensuring the game delivers all the intense arcade action players remember. This page features the highly anticipated release of Doom for the Sega 32X, shown here with a 90% completion rating. It's introduced as a realistic 3D shooter hailing from overseas, following up on the success of Wolfenstein 3D by the same developer, id Software. The article highlights its smooth movement and intense action that garnered worldwide acclaim. Screenshots throughout the page showcase the game's distinctive perspective, with the iconic HUD displaying health, armor, ammo, and the player's face. The core gameplay loop is described as navigating intricate, maze-like levels filled with enemies, traps, hidden rooms, and environmental dangers like lava pits. Key interactive elements like doors and elevators are shown and discussed as crucial for progression and discovering secrets. The automap feature is also displayed, essential for navigating the complex layouts. A significant point of discussion is the game's graphic nature, specifically the amount of blood and gore when defeating enemies. The review notes that this 32X port faithfully retains the violent intensity of the original PC version, which was unusual for console games in Japan at the time. Various weapon types are mentioned, starting with the player's bare fists, emphasizing the fun of finding new ways to blast demons. The game's distinct overseas game feel, even down to the difficulty selection screen messages, is also pointed out as part of its charm. Overall, the page portrays Doom as a groundbreaking and visceral experience, faithfully brought to the Super 32X. This page features an in-depth look at the upcoming game Cyber Brawl, which is presented here under a tentative title. Described as a slightly cult fighting game, it promises a departure from traditional genre entries, notably featuring battles between humans and non-human monsters. The game boasts a roster of 8 unique characters including Jake, the sole female fighter Ray, the cyborg Carl, and monstrous combatants like Wishbone, Stake, Bolt, and Finisher. A standout mechanic is the ability to customize characters by swapping different body parts, like the head, torso, arms, and legs, influencing both appearance and abilities. Crucially, during battle, these parts can become damaged and break off, impacting the fighter's effectiveness and even potentially disabling special moves, adding a strategic layer to combat. The game is highlighted for its extreme depiction of violence, with characters visibly sustaining injuries, losing limbs, and blood splattering during intense fights. Even with parts missing, the battles continue with shocking visual flair. The article suggests that this unique blend of customizable characters, destructible bodies, and over-the-top gore makes Cyber Brawl a distinct and potentially cult classic for fans of intense action. This page features an in-depth look at Lethal Enforcers 2, Gunfighters for the Sega Mega CD, known as the Western in Japan. It highlights the game's arrival, emphasizing that fans can now enjoy the arcade experience at home, especially with the dedicated light gun, the Justifier. The article praises the Mega CD port for being faithful to the arcade original, even including a practice mode that wasn't available in arcades. It outlines the various stages you'll face, starting with a bank robbery in the town, moving to a stage holdup in the desert, a saloon showdown, a train robbery, and finally, the hideout in a mine. Screenshots for each stage provide a glimpse of the action and settings, from fighting bandits in a bank to taking down enemies on a moving train and battling unusual foes in a mine. A particularly enjoyable aspect highlighted is the bonus stage. Unlocked after clearing stages 2 and 4, where players rack up points by shooting bottles behind a bar counter. The page also notes the ability to select stages, adding to the replayability. The overall tone suggests this is a solid port that effectively brings the fast-paced light gun action of the arcade game home. This page gives us a preview of Dai Houxian Den for the Sega Mega CD, an RPG based on the famous Chinese novel Feng Shen Yanyi. The highlight here is the game's beautiful anime visuals and its cast of vibrant characters, which promise to bring the epic story to life. The article sets the scene 3,000 years ago during China's Yin dynasty, where the tyrannical King Zhao rules wickedly. The protagonist is revealed to be Tai Gong Wang, Jiang Xia, who sets out on a journey to find King Wen, believed to be the benevolent ruler needed to save the world. We see screenshots showing town exploration, character portraits, and battle scenes. The story takes a twist when it's discovered King Wen is already dead. This leads Tai Gong Wang to embark on a quest that seemingly involves time travel, using a demon gate to go back 5 years into the past, with the goal of rescuing King Wen and changing history. The game seems to feature various allies joining Tai Gong Wang's party, including powerful figures like the Immortal Master of the South Pole and the Yellow Turban Soldier, who also appear in dynamic screenshots. The review indicates the game is 80% complete and praises the interwoven animation that gives rhythm to the story, making the captivating narrative enjoyable. This page dives deep into the system mechanics of Dai Houxian Den, the Mega CD RPG we discussed previously, showing off the detailed considerations that make the gameplay really good. We see various screens detailing the game's systems, including status checks, equipment management, item lists, party formation options, treasure viewing, and the use of immortal arts. The page features the cute, talking bull mascot again, explaining some features and acting as a guide. We also see the current distance to Choka, the final destination, and the player's current yen count, highlighting the scale of the journey and the importance of wealth. A particularly fun section, titled This Month's Human Relationships, features character illustrations and text hinting at plot points and character dynamics, specifically focusing on a potential romantic angle involving Do Gyo-sun and Sen Tama, promising some interesting narrative developments alongside the main quest. Overall, the page emphasizes the comprehensive nature of the game's systems, indicating a solid RPG experience. This page features the Mega CD 3D shooter, Soulstar, developed by the UK BASED Core Design. It was known for its impressive use of 3D scaling and rotation effects on the hardware. The premise involves battling the enemy Markoids who have taken over 4 planets. The game structure offers a degree of choice, with difficulty levels branching out based on your progression through the initial stages. A major goal is infiltrating and destroying the core CPU within the enemy warpship. A unique mechanic is your ship's ability to transform on the fly into different modes, like the agile sublight strike craft, the hovering turbocopter, and the ground-based combat walker, adapting to varying environments. The 4 planets provide diverse combat zones. Planet Vulcan challenges you in asteroid fields and underground tunnels. Planet Guha is a desert battleground with large mechs and flying battleships. Planet Twinga features intense underwater combat, and Planet Gagan throws you into skirmishes across green plains and urban cityscapes. Collecting rings dropped by enemies is key for power-ups and restoring shields. The page also includes a brief, flavorful roundtable discussion between the game's pilot and gunner. This page continues the Difficulty Games International Rescue Mission column with installment 025, focusing on maximizing your score in Dynamite Heady. The main feature is a detailed list outlining the conditions for earning all 39 secret bonuses across the game's 9 stages. These bonuses are tied to specific actions like defeating particular enemies, destroying environmental objects, or performing unique maneuvers, each awarding points towards the total 300,000 bonus points. Screenshots highlight some of these key moments. Additional tips on scoring and mentions of characters like Otokoko are included in the margins. The page also features a section where readers can submit their high scores or challenge details, dubbed Rescue Signals. This is a treasure trove for anyone looking to push their heady skills to the limit. This page features the BeepMD Secret Technique League, a column dedicated to revealing hidden tips and tricks for various MegaDrive games. It covers 4 distinct games, each with a specific secret highlighted. First up is Contra Hardcore, detailing a method to obtain all weapons immediately by pausing the game and entering a modified Konami-style code using the 1P controller. Screenshots show the paused game. Next, for Captain Tsubasa, a trick to unlock a cinema mode is presented. This involves navigating to the sound test from the title screen and playing specific background music and sound effect tracks in sequence. Screenshots show the sound test screen and the resulting cutscene. Below that, Super Street Fighter II's group battle mode is featured. The secret here is how to select the same character multiple times, up to 8. By entering a code on the 2P controller after choosing group battle. This allows for unusual team compositions. Screenshots display the character select screen with multiple identical characters. Finally, Sonic Spinball has a level select secret. By entering a specific button combination in the options menu and then holding a button, A, B, or C, while starting from the title screen, players can begin the game directly at level 2, 3, or 4 respectively. Screenshots show the options menu and the game start screen. The page provides practical gameplay advantages through these well-known types of video game secrets, offering shortcuts and unique game modes. This page details more secret techniques for Mega Drive and Gear games. For Mortal Kombat 2, a button sequence unlocks a test mode with cheats like no damage and fatalities. Echo. The Dolphin on Game Gear gets an invincible mode via a different button input on the map screen. Langrisser 2's troop arrangement screen reveals a hidden shop with powerful, expensive items accessible via a code. The page also advertises a continuing recruitment for more secrets and rewards. This page is all about Sega's handheld, the Game Gear. Featured prominently are two major fighting game ports from SNK that made their way to the system in late 1994. First up is Samurai Showdown. The magazine gives it a 100% completion rating, praising Takara's effort in bringing Slank's popular swordsman fighter to the Game Gear. It notes that the game remarkably retains almost all the content of the original arcade version, which is quite impressive for the hardware, suggesting it could attract many new Game Gear users. Next is Fatal Fury Special, also given a 100% rating. Interestingly, this version hit the Game Gear before the Mega Drive release. The review highlights the successful implementation of core mechanics like line switching and special moves, which are key to the Fatal Fury experience. The roster brings many fan-favorite characters to the small screen. There's also a specific mention of the super special move time, indicating the powerful desperation moves are included and accessible. Elsewhere on the page, a column points out the visual difference between how Game Gear screenshots look in a magazine, output from a video printer, versus on the actual LCD screen. Finally, it announces Bandai's entry into the Game Gear market, starting with a game based on the popular Slam Dunk anime/manga, mentioning their plans to release more character-based titles like Sailor Moon scenes, which will likely broaden the Game Gear's appeal. The Game Gear is getting a diverse lineup of upcoming titles. Magic Knight Rayearth, a new RPG based on the anime, features an original story and a gentle difficulty curve. Sonic the Hedgehog Triple Trouble adds Knuckles to the Sonic and Tails formula, showcasing classic platforming, puzzle and action. Ichidantra offers a smaller but still substantial collection of minigames. Sorcery Saga 2Y, the third in the series, promises new content. Finally, Puyo Puyo 2 arrives with a unique 4-player mode. The page highlights Sega's commitment to the Game Gear with a mix of familiar and new gameplay experiences. This page highlights the lineup for the Pioneer Laseractive platform, showcasing its strength in full-motion video games. Featured prominently is the classic arcade driving action game, Road Blaster. This port is lauded as a complete and perfect transition, finally bringing the intense vehicular combat and high-speed chases that fans remember from the arcade, complete with anime cutscenes and varied gameplay perspectives. Without the compromises seen in previous ports, the Laseractive's ability to handle video playback makes it the ideal home for this type of experience. Also presented is Don Quixote, described as an animated RPG. This title blends role-playing elements with full animation, offering players a unique interactive experience in the shoes of the legendary knight. The visuals showcase anime characters and fantastical settings. Finally, Back to Edo is introduced as a quiz game focused on learning about Japan's Edo period, featuring distinctive illustrations. The page also mentions a computer interface pack, allowing PC connection for programming and control. This selection demonstrates the diverse potential of the Laseractive library. This page dives into the quirky world of Ghost Rush on the Laseractive. It's presented as a comical horror adventure game featuring real video footage. The main goal is ghost hunting in a mansion transformed into a demonic dungeon. Screenshots show off the first-person perspective gameplay, featuring encounters with various bizarre ghosts, such as a large-eyed creature and a flying imp. The gameplay involves weakening ghosts with a ghost gun and then capturing them by rapidly pressing a button. The page highlights the dynamic nature of the mansion, with layouts changing on each visit, and features like a shop run by an advisor ghost for obtaining items. This game leverages the Laseractive's video capabilities to deliver an interactive horror comedy experience. The page also showcases the Pioneer CLDA 100 Laseractive player and compatible packs like the Megold PAX 1 and Weldrum PACN 1, emphasizing the system's versatility for enjoying various media like Laserdisc, CD, karaoke, and even Mega Drive and PC Engine games with the appropriate add-ons. This page spotlights the Neo Geo arcade hit, Street Hoop, a high-flying street basketball game featuring powerful dunks and global competition among diverse teams. This page is the B-Mega Reader giveaway section for the December 1994 issue, offering readers a chance to win various Sega-related prizes. You could win your choice of Sega Saturn software, featuring a screenshot of a fighting game, with 10 up for grabs, or perhaps a Mega Drive game of your choice, as seen in a Western game screenshot, with 20 winners. For Sonic fans, there's a cool Sonic wallet, and strategy enthusiasts could win a game guidebook for Langrisser 2. Also offered are items related to popular fighting game series, an original writing board featuring artwork from Vampire, known internationally as Darkstalkers, and a poster for the Samurai Spirits anime, based on the Samurai Showdown series. The application deadline is December 7, 1994. The magazine also announces a significant change. With the 32-bit era upon us, BeepMD will be merging with Sega Saturn magazine from the next issue, meaning the focus will shift as the Mega Drive era transitions. This page also includes the magazine's staff list and contact information for reader questions. This page announces a significant change. The company known as Tengen, which operated from 1988 to 1994, has changed its name and will now be operating under the Time Warner Interactive banner. Showcased is a new game titled Tama, also known as Adventurous Ball. Marketing highlights include blind test feedback, showing over 90% of consumers praised its content, fun factor, and originality. The game itself appears to be a unique puzzle or platforming adventure where you control a ball navigating tricky environments filled with traps like holes, some of which change shape. Release details are provided, indicating upcoming versions for Sega Saturn, planned for launch alongside the console, and PlayStation, scheduled for December 1994, both priced at 5,800 yen. Also featured is the classic arcade racer, Race Drivin', originally from Atari Games, and now under the Time Warner Interactive umbrella. The screenshot shows its distinctive polygonal graphics and dashboard perspective. The page effectively communicates the rebranding and presents upcoming titles, demonstrating the company's focus as they transition into the 32-bit era. This page continues from the previous, reinforcing the message about Tengen's transition to Time Warner Interactive. It prominently features imagery related to the previously mentioned game, Tama, now seen with the subtitle, In Giddy Labyrinth. This confirms the whimsical maze-like nature of the game hinted at before, showing the colorful character and environment artwork. The page also provides more details on two specific titles. Race Drivin', an arcade classic from Atari Games, is highlighted with text discussing its legacy and its cow character mascot. While a screenshot isn't explicitly shown with this text, the context and previous page make it clear which game is being discussed. Release details for Sega Saturn and PlayStation versions are still listed as undecided for both release date and price. Featured alongside is Virtua Racing Saturn. A screenshot shows the iconic polygonal cars on a track, and the text indicates it's being developed to be just as good as the arcade version. The company promises to deliver this experience. The large red text box emphasizes the core message. The correct answer is Time Warner Interactive's games. This serves as a clear statement of their new identity and purpose. The page concludes with the company name, Time Warner, Interactive Inc., and contact information. Overall, it reinforces the rebranding and offers brief updates on specific titles in development, maintaining excitement for their 32-bit offerings. This page is a vibrant feature on the puzzle game Puyo Puyo 2, known internationally as Puyo Puyo 2. The main focus is on the expanded content and features of this sequel for the Sega Mega Drive. The artwork showcases the series' iconic characters like Arle Naja, Carbuncle, the Dark Prince, Sketso Wege, and many others, including the returning Suketo Dara and Nasugrave, alongside powerful new helpers. Key highlights mentioned include a massive increase in playable characters, now totaling 32, and significantly enhanced sound data, with more character voices, making the battles lively. The Versus mode is emphasized with features like handicap settings, and the introduction of Big Ojama Puyo, large garbage Puyos, to create intense battles and strategic depth. The text proclaims the return of the Puyo Puyo boom sweeping across Japan. Screenshots show the classic Puyo Puyo gameplay interface, displaying the falling Puyos and garbage Puyos on the game board. The page also features images of Sega hardware, promoting the Mega Drive 2 console, the Game Gear handheld, with a Puyo Puyo 2 screenshot, and the Super 32X add-on. Sonic the Hedgehog also makes an appearance near the Sega logo. This page effectively promotes Puyo Puyo 2 as a major release with substantial improvements and highlights the Sega ecosystem.